Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome into Filmography. How's it going, everybody? Let's see how this goes.
When am I gonna get a cool little profile?
Oh, you can. Do you have a Twitch account?
No.
Okay.
When I create a Twitch account,
Do it.
I'm gonna come up with
Okay. All right. I'm glad that this is a competition now. Hold on a second here. Hold the effing phone. We'll get this.
Hello.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, see, okay.
Now we're home. Hello,
Hello, everybody.
you guys. Welcome to Filmography. Hi. So Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How are you? You just came back from Korea.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got back from Korea
There
at
you go.
1 a.m. last night,
That's awful.
and I'm really tired right now, but I'm excited to talk about Main Streets. But no, Korea was cool, man.
Yeah.
I got to spend 5 days there, and I got to do some serious exploring of Seoul, Korea, South Korea.
Did you iron out the whole?
And I figured out that
Sweet,
whole
good, yeah.
north-south situation, and
More music. Sure. Fair. Let's just turn this.
and so now there's peace over there.
Yeah, rock and roll, man.
You're welcome.
Just took 2 weeks of Jeff over there. And you're like, hey, or you just went to literally everyone and just go, hey, you gotta stop this nonsense. This is messing around. This is
Hey, Rocket Man.
hey, stop it.
All right.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. It's all settled.
And
Well,
Korea
good.
is like in the future because I left Monday at 5 p.m. and I arrived back here Monday at 4 p.m. and I was like, what?
You have time to you can do everything differently.
I know. Yeah, I
You just-
literally went
there's-
back in time.
There's 3 hours to just kind of.
And by the way, 15 hours on a plane, not fun.
Oh gosh.
Not fun at all.
What did you do? Did you sleep?
I watched a really cool documentary. It was a 2-part, 6-hour documentary directed by Judd Apatow on Gary Shandling.
Oh wow.
I'm a big fan of the Larry Sanders Show.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably my favorite. I think it's probably my favorite show. Like
Larry Sanders? Sanders?
Yeah. Like,
Really?
have you ever really?
No, I had my roommate in college was like he'll just like we talk about stuff and then he'll be like, oh, the Larry Sanders show's freaking great.
I'm gonna bring it over for you to watch
Right.
because it's amazing and it's probably the best written comedy series I've ever seen.
It's
So anyway, it was really cool, and like I didn't realize he was like very much into Buddhism and stuff. So it's not just like a funny look at him and insightful and everything. Like he was a really deep, super neurotic, but a super deep thinker and had a really beautiful outlook. Even though he had a lot of personal demons and stuff. But
yeah. And when did he?
he passed 2 years ago, and he was only 66. It's crazy. But yeah.
Oh, Vape, don't worry about it. I don't think we'll get a whole lot of trolling. Do what you need to. Go get you some sleep, my friend. Go get you some sleep. Or I mean, whatever. I'm not
Just stick
telling
around.
you. I'm not telling you to
Jeez.
leave, but take it easy. I'm just saying, don't feel obligated.
I feel obligated.
Well, all right. Yeah, not like officially obligated. No, dude. Go do what you need to.
I wish I had watched Mean Streets on my flight.
Really
but
loudly. Yeah.
I was I basically watch stuff like this where I'd be like, huh?
Yeah. Still Shandling? Okay.
Yeah, still
Is he
Shandling. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Jeffrey Tambor, sweet.
Was this Deadpool 2 now? Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what do they do? Like on a 15-hour flight, they've got to like roll out. I'm sure they have like
They have a lot of
dancers.
They have
like
they have an incredible collection of movies for you to watch. Like you can watch. There's a ton of stuff on there. I ended up trying to sleep as much as I could, so when I got there, I wasn't too hampered by jet lag because I had to work. But it was cool, man. And I got to explore the city, and I filmed a bunch, and I got to visit Humphreys military. It is a military base. It's the biggest military base in the world.
really?
And it's like they call it like the spearhead. And
wait, oh, it's an American military base?
Yeah, it's an American military base. Because I went over
Wow.
there with a band who was playing, doing a huge
At Humphreys?
Yeah, like a huge show for like the entire base, and it was cool.
Dude, that's crazy. Hey, I'm glad you got back safely.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
It's like a scary sounding thing to go to Korea, just because
I was a little nervous,
yeah.
but once I got there, I was just like, oh, this is just like any other place. It's just instead of a bunch of it's just a lot of Asian people everywhere, a bunch of Korean people.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was really interesting.
It's like going to Round Rock, but except everyone's
Is it
Asian.
Round Rock?
No, that sounded bad. I just mean you're just saying like it's like any other place, and I was like it's just
Yeah, it was just like Round Rock,
except
but with Asian people.
Lots of Korean people around. Yeah,
right.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Well, good. I'm glad you're safe because you hear in the news.
Well, that was the thing. It was just like when I got back there, like, oh my god, was it scary? I'm like, no, it was completely and utterly normal. Yeah. And like any other city, because no one cared about anything like regards to that whole situation. If anything, people were just afraid of our president. Yeah. But, I mean, like in terms of like North Korea and all that, they were like even the people on the military base were like, we've got it covered. Yeah. The only thing, like, even they were worried that he was trying to take away some of our defense stuff. Oh. And able to be super confident about protecting you because, like, they're on top of it over there. Yeah. It was interesting, like how the media portrays that versus being on the ground, like right there, because like they were like, that's North Korea right there. And we were like, oh shit, we're like really close. Yeah. So it was like that dynamic of seeing that versus what's in the media was interesting, yeah. Oh man, so you got like a global perspective now. I do. you know. So it was Jeff filming in Korea. Was the interview too? What was it? I was just doing like a little mini documentary piece on a band that went over there to do a big show. On Humphreys military base. Yeah. Cool. I was just there for like 5 days or 7 days. Yeah, and I mean, I was there for 7 days. And what you're saying makes sense. I mean, you go to anywhere and it's just people just living their lives. Yeah. They're not going like, the situation, because we're in this situation. It's just like, no. What are you gonna? Everybody was totally normal, and and honestly, everyone was super nice over there and very like incredibly polite. Yeah. Except, I guess when you're a Korean person and you get to the age of like 70, you just go. Like, you're like, I'm gonna be super polite till that age, and then you're like, I don't care about anything or anyone, because like I saw so many like tiny little 7-year-old Korean ladies like walking in the middle of like traffic because there's bikes that like just fly on the sidewalk, and they were just walking in the middle of traffic and people were honking at them, and then they were yelling at them. Like, that's amazing. Like, no, I get to walk now. I'm retired from giving a shit. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great. It was funny. That's fantastic. Okay, well, cool. Well, good. And now I'm back. And I watched Mean Streets today, and I forgot how freaking good it is. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really great. Guys, give me some ones in the chat if you got to see Mean Streets. If you didn't, don't worry about it. But just give me a one. Give me a one in the chat. Give me a one in the chat if you watch Mean Streets. If you hear, it's a chat. A one in the chat. There you go. All right. I was like, I'm just gonna keep talking until. What's up, Madeline? You made it just in time. We were just talking about Korea. Like you do. Jeff just got back there. Last time I watched a movie on a plane, it was what's that Western, that really kind of like sort of spare Western with Michael Fassbender and the kid. Do you know what I'm talking about? Michael Fassbender and the kid. I don't know. It's Michael Fassbender's in a Western? Mm-hmm. Oh, was it like funny? Mm-mm. What? There's a funny Western with Michael Fassbender? Which one are you talking about? Okay, hold on. Or I thought it was funny? I don't think it was supposed to. That's supposed to be funny. Remember when Michael Fassbender was in like everything, and now I haven't heard from him in a while. He was like Jude Law. Remember when Jude Law was in like 12 movies in 1 year? He was in like Sky Captain and Alfie and Closer, and like he had all these movies come out, and everyone was like, "We get it." Yeah. Which, by the way, I watched Sky Captain semi-recently. Had you not seen it? And I had watched part of it years ago. Because remember, everybody made a huge deal about it before, CG Sin City and all that stuff. Or maybe Sin City came out very.
I feel like it was before. Well,
was it before?
I don't know. Sky Captain really kind of came and went, and I keep seeing it.
It did. It just like but have you watched it?
It's been a long time, and I keep seeing it in bargain bins, and I almost buy it because I'm like, I want to give it another shot because there's so many references,
and it's like
it's nothing but film references.
The visual style seems like it would be right up my alley, and then I watched it, and I was like, this is not a good movie. It's really bland.
Yeah, I didn't remember
even the visuals. Like after a while, you're just like, oh, as still frames, maybe this works, but it's just kind of murky and I don't know. Hot take on Sky Captain.
Yeah. So kick them while they're get them off their high horse. Goodness, but it was like a dude, wasn't it? Like a dude who like was like an effects guy,
and then Carrie
Conrad they gave him a shot at it.
Yeah,
and they were like.
And he got like, because I mean the cast is next level. I mean Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow and Jude Law, and they brought back freaking
so it's basically
not Humphrey Bogart,
Talented Mr. Ripley. Oh,
they like reanimated some famous actor, like Laurence Olivier.
Oh yeah, he was like the talking.
He was like the talking head villain,
the Wizard of Oz thing. Yeah, what's up, Lois? Yeah. We played some. Wow, we're gonna play some more after. I kind of built a character and then started it, and that was it. Because the computer wasn't... Anyway, whatever. We'll talk about it later. That's my brother.
Where?
That blue name that says Lois Jr.
Hey!
So now you've met.
Hi. Yeah. He always... I think it's remarkable that I've never met you.
Yeah. He doesn't...
So, this is... Fix that.
Well, I'm going to keep it here just so that so I don't ever have to show you...
Look, he likes to compartmentalize things to a weird degree.
He just doesn't exist, and I'm keeping it under. It's like Simone. You know, Simone.
No.
Sim 1, the movie with Al Pacino.
Oh, wow. That is a deep pull.
It is. No, and I was like, I started saying something similar. I can't even remember if it was, and I mentioned, I was about to make that reference, and then I was like, nah, I make obscure references all the time, and I was like, I'm drawing the line at Simone. And then someone in chat was like Simone, and I was like, you! Yes!
Here's the thing. I knew instantly that that's what you were talking about, but it was so obscure. I was like, he can't be me. Like, that's such an odd reference that it can't be that. And then it was.
That's awesome. Yeah.
What else has he done? Andrew Niccol. Gattaca. I mean, other than Gattaca, which is like, Gattaca is a top level film.
Okay, hold on. While we're at it.
Amazing score.
The Western that Michael Fassbender is Shame. No, I'm just joking.
I got my Batman.
Balls. Oh, Frank. I really wanted to see Frank. I never saw Frank.
Is that the one where he wears that thing on his head?
Yeah. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. I think it's probably good. I think it's probably good. I think I've heard good things about it.
What's this one called?
I can't. That's what I can't. That's what I'm like not.
Are you just talking about the snowman? By the way, guys, guys and gals, if you haven't seen The Snowman with Michael Fassbender, just don't even. Why are you even on this podcast right now? Or podcast, this stream? Go watch that movie. I think it's even on HBO right now. You can stream it on HBO Go.
Do you want to tell them why you want them to watch that movie?
No. I want them to be deeply surprised. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen it.
But in the most remarkable, over the top, how did this get made? It's next level bad. And I loved every second of it. And I saw it in the theater, and I almost saw it twice.
You wrote like a screed.
I did, and then on I bashed that thing to pieces because it's fascinating how bad it is and how it still managed to get released.
Because watching that trailer, I'm like, and hearing your reaction, I'm like, that trailer doesn't make sense to like. I don't understand how that movie could be so bad as to engender the anger and fury.
Well, it's because it's directed. It's got Fassbender, a top level cast, cinematographer, composer. Like the talent involved is
maybe
like,
Polaris. Yeah,
is very high pedigree, and the director directed Let the Right One In and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Yeah. So I had like high hopes for it, and it was like incomprehensible how bad it was. So check it out.
Slow West.
Okay, so that's the one I was thinking of. I thought it was like a funny thing. the trailer made it look that
way.
way.
So you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I was
I
like,
just
you
saw
thought
the
that was
trailer.
funny? Okay.
So it's not funny.
Not to me.
Wow, okay.
But, okay. Yeah, okay. And then Andrew Niccol. And then we'll...
Why were you talking about that? Like, why did you bring that up?
Because you were talking about watching movies on a plane, and that was a movie that I watched on a plane.
Oh, really?
And it was still good, but like, when you watch a movie on a plane, it's like, you didn't really watch that movie. It's like...
Yeah.
Gattaca...
Madeline, are you talking about...
Writer of The Truman Show. He wrote In Time. He wrote...
The Justin Timberlake vehicle?
Yes. Yes.
He wrote Truman Show.
Apparently, or maybe one of them.
And he directed Gattaca.
It's got something coming
fantastic.
up called Anon, and it looks like... Oh, it's a Netflix film. It looks like it's got
The
Clive Owen in it.
Proposition is one of my favorite Westerns of all time.
So I haven't seen that.
Assassination of Jesse James. Proposition.
Oh, Jesse James is fantastic. Fantastic.
Like, those two should be a really intense double feature.
He wrote Lord of War. He wrote the story...
Oh, yeah, Lord of War.
He
wrote the story for The Terminal. Wow.
Which I like. I quite like The Terminal. A lot.
Yeah, we know. You talk about it all the time.
Anon, Good Kill, The Host, The Minute, In Time, Lord of War, Simone. Not a lot. Yeah, Gattaca. Pretty much Gattaca.
Gattaca's
so
good.
I don't think I've seen all of it.
And it's the score for it by Michael Nima.
No idea.
Is really, really great. And he did the score for Man on Wire, which is another great score.
The documentary or the movie?
The documentary.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, he's a talent.
What's up? Okay,
so anyways, we watched Mean Streets.
Yeah, and again,
which I thought it was Scorsese's first movie.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's like his third
movie,
not counting shorts and such. So
right.
so okay. So let's just to focus this.
Yeah,
we're gonna start. And once again, guys, maybe some new people. Ones if you saw Mean Streets. Ones if you've managed to see Mean Streets at some point in your life before now, either because you did it for this stream or otherwise. Also, I can't see anything now, which is. Nope, not Mean Streams. What am I doing?
Mean Streams.
Mean Streams. All right, so here we go. Hold on. One. All right, we got Soaring Trumpet, Madeline, O'Toddle. Sweet.
Cool.
Very cool. So here we go. Just to give you a little overview, if you haven't seen it, or to refresh you if you have, we're gonna read off this. We're gonna get this from a website, a nice, small website I found called Wikipedia.org. Mean Streets, a 1973 American crime film directed by Martin Scorsese and co-written by Scorsese and Mardik Martin. The film stars Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro. It was released by Warner Brothers on October 2nd, 1973. De Niro won the National Society of Film Critics Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Johnny Boy Chiavello. I didn't know Chiavello was his last name. In 1997, Mean Streets was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Did you know? So they have the National Film Preservation Board where they do that.
Yeah. And
when I worked at a newspaper, I wrote a passionate argument for RoboCop to be included.
It's not?
It may have been by now. I don't think it is.
Really?
I don't think it is. The Terminator is. RoboCop is not.
Yeah, because I didn't think it was like necessarily, it had to be highbrow material.
No.
Which, I mean, I think RoboCop kind of is highbrow material. I think so too. But like, that's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, plot. Charlie.
And then you got it into the registry because of your article. Is that the end of that story?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Eventually, on a long enough timeline. Yeah, I kind of was like, but I did kind of like include. I was like, here's the email you can send. He's like, if everyone, I was like, the circulation of this newspaper is this. If we all just send one email, it'll shut down the government servers. Nothing will happen. So Charlie is a young Italian-American man in New York City, Charlie being Harvey Keitel. Mm-hmm. He's hampered by his feeling of responsibility toward his reckless younger friend, Johnny Boy, a small-time gambler who owes money to many loan sharks. Charlie works for his uncle Giovanni, a powerful loan shark and political fixer, mostly collecting debts. He is also having a secret affair with Johnny Boy's cousin, Teresa, who has epilepsy and is ostracized because of her condition, especially by Charlie's uncle. Charlie's uncle also wants Charlie not to be such close friends with Johnny, saying, quote, honorable men go with honorable men.
Charlie is torn between his devout Catholicism and his illicit work for his uncle. Johnny becomes increasingly self-destructive and disrespectful of his creditors. Failing to receive redemption in the church, Charlie seeks it through sacrificing himself on Johnny's behalf, which is an interesting take on that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going further than the summary. At a bar, Michael, a small-time loan shark, and also one of their friends, comes looking for Johnny to pay up. To his surprise, Johnny insults him. Michael lunges at Johnny, who pulls a gun. After a tense standoff, Michael walks away, and Charlie convinces Johnny that they should leave town for a brief period. Teresa insists on coming with them. Charlie borrows a car. I'm saying Teresa. Maybe they said Teresa.
I think it is Teresa.
Okay. I'm like, it's Italian.
It sounds so sensual.
Teresa. It's like I'm in, beautiful. Life is beautiful. Charlie borrows a car and they drive off, leaving the neighborhood without incident. The car has been following them, suddenly pulls up. Michael at the wheel and his henchman, Jimmy Shorts, didn't know his name, in the backseat. Jimmy fires several shots at Charlie's car, hitting Johnny in the neck and Charlie in the hand, causing Charlie to crash the car. An ambulance and police arrive at the scene. The paramedics take Charlie, Teresa, and Johnny away. So
good night, everybody.
There you go. That is what happens. Keitel is so dang good. Agreed, man.
How long had Keitel been in the scene up to this point? Because he is so good in this movie.
He's great.
And like, I know this was like De Niro's big breakout performance.
Yeah.
And this is how he got his role in Godfather Part 2.
Right.
Because Francis Ford Coppola, who was friends with Martin Scorsese, when he saw a rough cut of Mean Streets, I think then and there he was like, he's gonna be young Vito.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting because like, I love Keitel, and I don't think I've ever seen a performance by Keitel where I'm like, oh, he's a little younger, and maybe a little green or something like that. Like, he is fully formed in this movie.
Absolutely.
Even in this movie, like, it's a little rough around the edges in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
And you can see Scorsese, a lot of the main themes and stuff that's going to go on to be in most of his work.
Yeah.
But it's all a little rough,
Yeah.
you know? But Keitel is just a smooth, like his performance is nuanced and subtle and just, it's beautiful.
Well, and fully formed is, so that's interesting that you say all that, because fully formed is like, within minutes, I like typed that down in my notes, because I was like, in terms of Scorsese though. Now he's not fully formed, but he is like, all the things are in place.
All those things.
He's Scorsese.
Yeah.
He's already Scorsese.
I was shocked at how it is. It's all his love for movies, and it's showing that within it. The church, the hyper violence, and the intimate look at inner city life within Little Italy and things like that. Like, it is all the beats that he's going to return to, maybe in more polished ways throughout his career, over different movies, and focus on them in various ways in different movies. It's all there in this one movie.
Well, and also like in terms of it, just. Like all of that, yes, thematically, absolutely, but then also, just it just feels like a Scorsese movie, just because the energy is there.
Oh, the camera work.
The camera work is unbelievable.
The music cues,
and that's it.
And that's the big one.
And like definitely that, and it's like, and of course that it's like it opens up and he's laying there, and then and then there's that first line where he's like, you deal with your sins. You don't deal with your sins in church. You deal with them in the street. You deal with them at home. The rest is bullshit. And it goes, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It's not a sun,
yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. And I'm like, oh, this feels like, and it's, of course, it's because that song, it literally is in Goodfellas. It's when they're like walking. It's like, it's like that iconic scene with like the follow steady cam one shot through the kitchen. But it's like, and I kind of forgotten that, and I was like, man, this feels like Scorsese already. And it's kind of a cheat because you go back, but it has the same effect. It just goes and you're just into it, and it's like.
And that wasn't something that had really been done at this point. Like,
Easy Rider,
but it was that movie and this one that really brought in this idea that you can use quote unquote pop songs
absolutely
in your films, and because up till that point it was all movie score stuff, and I think he wrote the script with those cues in there.
And it's so funny because, like, obviously that, is a thing that is widespread now, but it still feels so, we love a good bop. It still feels as fresh as ever. It's still like,
it does.
It gets going and you're like, oh yeah, it's not like I've seen this a million times. It's literally a song that he has used in a different film, and I'm still like, yeah.
It's because he knows
when to bring it in. Yeah,
he's kind of like this is a really odd comparison, but he's like Nora Ephron in the sense that like Nora Ephron is the other person I'm like she writes her music cues for pop songs into those scripts and then utilizes them with like she knows how that edit's going to be in the film. Like there's a cue in there when they do in Mean Streets when it cuts to Harvey, it's a dolly shot down the bar. And Harvey Keitel's at the opposite end, and it's all in slow-mo. And there's a cue there with, I think, a Rolling Stones song.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Stones, yeah.
And it's such an amazing cut and an amazing, with the movement and everything, and it's just so fantastic.
It's such a thing where, like, it's almost, man, because he does it, I don't know, like, a lot of times you go, like, oh, I watched the trailer, and then I watched the movie, and the trailer's better than the movie. I'm like, the movie moves like a trailer almost.
Well,
the movie moves so well.
It is crazy to me that how old is he now? Is he
Probably
late
80?
Oh,
is he? No,
I think he's got to be in his early 70s.
Okay, he's 150 years old.
I know this because I thought he was like 80, and then I looked it up and I was like, and at the time I was like, oh shit, he's only like 68.
Yeah. Did he make a deal with a demon tree or something?
But when Wolf of Wall Street came out, I left the theater with like my jaw just on the floor because I was like,
you can still do it.
He's and I felt the same way about Lumet with his last movie before the Devil Knows You're Dead, because
just
the energy is like something that like filmmakers in their early 30s just couldn't even begin to hope to match.
Right.
And like the fact that he's maintained that from Mean Streets till now. Because that movie starts, and it just kicks in with that first music cue, and then it just goes.
Wall Street or Mean Streets?
Mean Streets.
Yeah, not Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. Scorsese is 75. Yeah, dude. Like that's the thing. Yeah, you're exactly. Wolf of Wall Street came out, and it just still knocked everybody back. You know, I mean, and we've seen, and there's the thing where it's like. Which is I didn't finish saying it, but it's a misnomer, this idea that you're like, oh, another Scorsese movie is like another gangster movie, and you're like, if you look at the spread,
he's done it all.
He's just done a ridiculous. I mean, like Kundun and
Age of Innocence.
Bring out the Age of Innocence, Silence, right? I mean, but like, freaking King of Comedy.
Oh yeah, which I haven't
seen that either. It's De Niro. It's Scorsese directing De Niro as a comedian, and is it him and Sally Field? No,
well, isn't Jerry? Who's the crazy guy from the '60s? Dr. Dolittle. Jerry the comedian.
Oh, you're talking about?
No, King of Comedy.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Isn't it? Okay.
Isn't it him and isn't it so? So isn't it Jerry Lewis and De Niro, and Jerry Lewis plays like the older seasoned comedian or something like that?
Maybe. They're two like
I think it's something like that.
Is it Jerry Lewis? Yeah. I'm thinking I might be thinking of two different stand-up. There's one where Sally Field is like, oh, that's like Punchline or something. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. I effing want to see Robert De Niro as a stand-up comedian.
I know it's because I watched Mean Streets on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
And I know King Comedy because it tried to autoplay it, so it's on there.
Oh, that's
for
great.
For anybody who has Amazon Prime, it's on there for free.
That's freaking awesome. What's the thing? Is it After Hours with Griffin Dunn? Is Scorsese?
I've heard that's fantastic, and I've never. It rarely gets mentioned. Yeah. But then the people who have seen it's like it's one of his best, apparently, and I've never seen it.
And the thing is, Mean Streets is. I mean, I because there's Goodfellas. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of other stuff that's fantastic, but like, it's hard to. I mean, Mean Streets is right up there for me. It's hard to kind of be like. It's hard to be like. To say that. Yeah, in terms of the experience that it is, it's like Mean Streets is just incredibly entertaining. It's incredible. Well, I mean, there's like Raging. I know because the thing is you're going up against like Raging Bull and. And Goodfellas and really, Last Temptation, just tons and tons and tons of just the greatest film, quote unquote, that's been made in the modern era. But Mean Streets is just so great. It feels so, and it has something different that I haven't seen everything by him, but it has something different that there's that sort of like almost like kids in the neighborhood camaraderie thing that like it's like the Sandlot of Goodfellas, you know what I mean? Which is a Sandlot of gangster movies, but it's
surprisingly funny, but funny in like a very real way.
Yeah,
like it's not like they're punchline jokes or anything. It's just it's realistic interactions that have little tiny that feel like they must have been improvised moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That feel like I'm like, oh yeah, that feels really honest and therefore. Like I laughed a lot, and it's that type of laughter where it was happening maybe like right after a really intense scene
of course.
There's a lot of fights in this movie.
I love
brawls, you know.
Yeah.
And then there'd be like a little like, wow, we got a little bit of humor right at the end.
It's great
to diffuse it.
Something very West Side Story about it. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen West Side.
Well, they are just running. They're running around, just getting into like these little set piece fight things like everywhere they go.
And well, I love that whole thing where they go down and see, I can't remember his name, the dude at the pool hall.
Yeah.
And they're going to go get his money, and it's this thing, and then Johnny Boy's kind of mouthing off, and it's like, whatever, and then he calls the other guy Mook, and it's like, what's a Mook? Like, they're like, what is it? Can you call, you can't call me that. I don't know what that is, you can't call me that. And Johnny Boy's like, whatever, and then he just goes, I can't call you that? Bam! It just hits him, and then it's this huge fight. Huge fight. They end up lined up. The cops go to and then they pay off the cop, and the cop's like, all right. And they're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Come back, and they go like, all right, let's have a drink. This is that drink we didn't have. Boom, boom, boom. And then he's like, let's shake on it. He goes, don't touch me. And he's like, what's this problem? And they go, boom, and they just start fighting again, and it's the best thing in the world.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's so great. And the way he filmed that whole fight scene too.
There's that specific shot where they're like kicking the dude down the wall for like a minute and a half.
I know.
Like, this is intense.
It's so intense. Like it's there's a kinetic energy to the way he filmed it, where it really does feel like a documentary in a lot of ways.
Totally.
And I think it's why I like movies like this and French Connection that has a similar documentary feel. It not only is cool to watch because they're good movies with good stories and stuff, but because of the presentation and the documentary aesthetic and how they're filming it, you really get a cool window into like what New York City looked like in 1972, French Connection 1971. Like, I mean, like a really interesting, honest look at. You're like, oh wow, that's what New York City looked like to a T.
And you definitely feel like you're there with them. You definitely feel like you're growing up with them. You feel like you're one of them. You're just like the fifth, sixth silent friend over there who's just kind of going through this stuff. And it's funny because like a significant portion of the film was shot in L.A. and it's which
I couldn't believe when I read that. I could not believe that was true.
And so it's an interesting thing too because like we were talking about because previous to this he had made Who's That Knocking at My Door, which I don't know. It was Keitel as well, and from what
apparently they made it over. So I thought I had seen that, but I had seen Alice Doesn't Live Here.
You have seen Alice?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, so that one had been made over the course of
he was
5
just shooting
years.
Yeah, he was shooting. Wow.
Because they said because it went through several different iterations, and by the time it was like finally, because they were even doing screenings in those 5 years. Yeah. Like at film festivals.
And they were just getting it wherever they could. Yeah, it's 1967. My gosh, it's black and white. Oh wow. Unlikely romance forms between a streetwise New Yorker and a snob. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So you have seen that?
No, but I read about it and stuff, and it's kind of like it has some of the same themes, like some things that carried over and got put into Mean Streets. And it's like he's trying to he's like in love with a girl, but then like what is it? She like it's like this whole this very Catholic guilt sort of. I can't do this, but I can. And it kind of threatens to ruin their relationship and stuff. And
apparently, when he was writing Mean Streets, he initially was going to make it a complete continuation of Who's That Knocking at My Door with the same characters and everything.
Oh, okay.
But then he decided against that.
And so he made that, and that was enough to kind of impress some people. And he. And then the second thing he made that was a feature, because he had done some award-winning short films, some films that got into festivals and won some awards. And then, Roger Corman was like, hey, we made this one film about train or like a train boxcar lady, and she's just violent. And then he kind of got Scorsese to do the sequel, which is Boxcar Bertha. He went and kind of did it. He's like a director for hire, and Scorsese was like, that was like the first time I, did a movie where you just get the crew and you just do it all in the space of a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever, as opposed to like just whenever you have the equipment you shoot and then you just hope everything matches and whatever. So he was like, that was my first like real set experience, and he was like, well, this is crazy. Like I just focused on the movie. And
then he said with Mean Streets, it was he really felt it was the combination of both those movies together, where he was like, okay, now I'm actually making a personal piece, but I have to run it like a real movie set.
Yeah.
And so I think he even said in Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, the book we've been reading, that this was the first time he was like, this was the full movie experience for me, because I was making a personal work,
he cared about,
but running it like a real movie set. And he said he learned how to make a real movie when he made Mean Streets.
Yeah, and apparently he said he was. I was just watching an interview, and he said he was cutting together a documentary about, gosh, I can't even remember what, something.
Was it Woodstock?
I don't think so. That was something he did, but this was something where he was doing it for. It was for hire. And he was doing that, and and they're like, and he was trying to cast Mean Streets while he was doing it. He had this day editing job, and then was kind of like while he was on the job, they was trying to like cast Mean Streets and get stuff together, and they were kind of like, hey man, you gotta, now you can't, you're fired because you're working on another movie instead of ours, and you're not getting ours done. And he was like, okay, and then he like left. And then, but then, like with the crew, he was like, "Well, I've got this crew from the Corman film. They all were kind of like, we'll do this thing with you." And they were like, "But you got to do it. You got to do it in L.A. We've just got more access to stuff. We know locations. We know places. We can just get it done more easily in L.A." And he was like, "Well, obviously, there's some stuff that we can't shoot in L.A. We have to do, we have to get some exteriors and whatever." And they shot like the interior. I think
That blows my mind.
I know,
by the way,
it's crazy.
Because I would never.
No, yeah.
The way it's presented and the editing is so seamless that I never would have thought that.
And there's like that hall. I think there's that hallway scene where it's. I think it was talking about that one where Teresa has a seizure, and he's like, they're confronting each other, and he's like that. Or no. It's the other one where like the lady yells down. Anyway, one of the scenes is like, he was like, that is actually the hallway of the apartment where we like these things the people that these are based on, like we hung out in that hallway, like that was where, that was like the Johnny Boy character's mother lived in that apartment. And it was wow. It's so it's very kind of like, so a lot of it is very extremely authentic.
Yeah. Because they spent like, what's crazy to me is it feels like there's a lot of exterior stuff, and I think they filmed all of it in like 6 days. Like something crazy fast.
Yeah. And then a large, the rest of it is LA, which is pretty nuts because it feels so New York, and it's so New York, and Mean Streets is like, Mean Streets, New York, man.
I would be very curious to see if even though it has a raw kind of documentary feel to it, how much is storyboarded, because it is so seamless in how he gets in and out of scenes, and how it just feels like you're constantly in New York City. Like, no joke, when I read that it was filmed like over half of it in LA, I that was crazy.
Yeah, what were they saying? I think the scene where De Niro's on the roof shooting the gun is in New York, but then like the window that he breaks is in LA. Like,
right,
very, very kind of interesting. It's very
that's
cool.
So wild.
It's movie magic, man. That's nuts. Bucks.
One of the most interesting edits. And there's a lot of, the editing is fantastic, and it's really energetic, and it's really that kind of Scorsese type editing that you see combined with his frenetic camera work. But there was a really jarring edit that I thought was cool that I wanted to ask you about. When he is after he has sex with Teresa, they're laying in bed and they're talking, and there's one moment, I think they're maybe talking about getting married or something. And then he looks at her and he goes like this.
Oh, and it cuts.
And he doesn't go like this. He doesn't go. Yeah. He just goes. and there's a sound effect of like a real gunshot, and then it cuts on the gunshot to them continuing to talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But what was the point there?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I remember that. I feel like
was it just him like wanting to not be involved in that conversation, or
maybe I'd have to watch it again in context.
I know, me too.
I remember it, but
Yeah.
it's been like a week since I saw the movie, and I kind of was.
It was pretty jarring. That whole scene was pretty jarring. Like,
yeah, there's some stuff.
Because he was like looking through his eyes as she was getting dressed, and it made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very kind of. I honestly think. I mean, I think that's just. I chalk it up to kind of roughness and period.
You think so?
Maybe that's.
I mean, honestly, so did I.
Maybe that's not giving it enough credit, but I think. I mean, like, the thing is, what knocked me on my ass about it was that, like, from the get-go, from that boom, 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 from that music cue, and then into the Super 8 footage of the family over the stuff, that opening which is so great, but then also something. I don't know this, but that's one of the earliest examples I've ever seen of that.
Oh yeah.
Of that thing that's been used now a million times.
I thought that was fantastic.
It's so great, and it that whole thing altogether. You go, it's just so immediate. You're like, I'm watching a movie that could have come out yesterday. Mm-hmm. Like, and then it goes in, and the whole thing, and so much of it. And then there's just like there are so many great shots, and like definitely, I mean, obviously there's some severe planning that went into it, because there's that one shot where Keitel's sitting in the Chinese restaurant, and he's sitting there waiting for, like, I can't remember if he's waiting to meet Giovanni or I think he's waiting to talk to the dude who like owns the restaurant, and he's like my partner, whatever. And there's just this great shot that comes, and he's sitting, and it comes around.
I know which
one. Turns. It's so.
I
great.
wanted to talk about it.
I love it.
Keep going.
I love it. I was like, whoa, and I rewound it, and I was like, gosh darn it. Hey, man, we're just talking about kind of the technical, I guess, assembly of the film, and now we're talking about cinematography. There's a shot where Keitel's in the Chinese restaurant. He's about to, I think, talk to the guy who
his uncle Giovanni.
Is it Giovanni? He's waiting to talk to Giovanni. He's not waiting to. Okay. So he's waiting to talk to his uncle Giovanni, and the shot comes behind him, and it's all red. I mean, that red in the bar, it's so great, and just comes behind him,
and it wraps around his face
so
as
beautiful.
He's waiting there, and he does that. He's done that many times. Like, that's a move that he does.
It's like a Scorsese Steadicam kind of deal, but it's not.
And it's not just the wraparound. It's the fact that he starts the shot pointing the camera like this way.
Yeah.
And then it like far back, and then the camera whips around straight ahead, catches the back of the head, and then goes back around to point the other way again. Like, it's a 3-point move that's very specific.
Yeah.
And he's done it in many, many movies. And it's great.
And it's stuff that, I mean, like, I don't... Oh, sorry, yeah. Yeah, me too. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you just...
Really?
I just said that. I literally was like, I rewound that.
Great shot.
I love that. Hey, Comfy Eddie. I love that shot. It's amazing, and it's something that
that's so weird that you noticed it, and because I wanted to talk about that shot. And,
it's beautiful.
Wow, that's great.
It's great. And I just... And it's the thing... It's that sort of thing that I just, like... So much of this movie... I mean, certainly the performances... and then just stuff like that where it just knocks you back and go, like, this is 1973? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 70s were a fantastic time for film. Obviously, that's why we're talking about this. But you look at, like, and you look at Easy Rider or, like, even The Graduate and stuff, and you're like, these are great. These are great, and oh my gosh, I can see it. But there's a part of you that's going, like, but it's old, and so it's, like, a little hitchy and whatever. And then you see Mean Streets, and you're just like...
No, that holds up.
It's there.
Yeah.
He's doing it, and it's the stuff that he's been doing, and he's been doing since, and it's just unbelievable. And I don't know, if some of it is, if he drew. I mean, because he was very heavily inspired by European cinema. So and give
Michael
him
Powell and
and to give him all the credit for these things maybe isn't. But I don't. But like I'm just like that's Scorsese, man. That is freaking Scorsese.
I think the most
who was the DP? I can't. It's I think his last name starts with a T. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I think what and it's interesting to know that this is his third movie and where it kind of all culminated into what would ultimately be a Scorsese picture.
Yeah.
Is that at this point, it certainly seems like he's very technically proficient.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it feel I guess, timeless, because it really does feel like it hasn't aged, is just that, like, he has this amazing ability to tell stories in very personal ways. Because sometimes, like, I mean, even stuff, very polished stuff like The Aviator or Shutter Island or, anything like that, he still has this ability to, like his, I don't think any movie of his has ever made me cry necessarily, but, like, he still gets a palpable sense of emotion because he focuses on story, which is kind of the whole point. And then he's just so good at the technical stuff that he wraps it in a really beautiful package, but he never loses sight of that. That's a lie. Age of Innocence made me cry.
Yeah,
which is weird because it's his most, like, the whole movie is about
restrained,
pushing down your emotions the whole time. Yeah. But then when they don't, it becomes a very palpable.
Absolutely.
We'll need to do that movie way later, but that's a great movie.
Is this Henry Cavill? Yeah, probably.
Wow. Made my day.
Can't wait.
I need about 90 more pounds of muscle.
There you go. Yeah, I feel like if you put both of us together, but just cut off my head, and then, well, no, we'd just be a monster.
Henry Cavill. We need 90 more pounds of muscle. We can keep your hair, and we need Henry Cavill's face, and we'll be good to
go. Kent Wakeford. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but that's the cinematographer. So yeah,
who is it?
Kent Wakeford. I don't know.
Did he do anything? Because here's the thing. That's the other. I love and this is the same thing with, like, French Connection. I love the cinematography of these two movies, like French Connection and Mean Streets, because I know that they lit the picture, but it certainly doesn't feel like they lit the picture. Like, it looks like found lighting.
Right.
And I am such a massive fan of found lighting, or at least the appearance of found lighting, because it gives it. I like stuff when it's underlit.
Yeah.
Like, I like when something's a little underexposed, or someone's maybe draped in shadow and not in the most perfect way. Like, I feel like that makes, if they're doing your job right, and that's the intent, it gives it a more vitality to the entire experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why all the city shots and everything are so great, and I just can't believe they filmed it all in, like, 6 days. That's crazy.
Well, you're like underlit. We're jumping into The Godfather, and that's all sorts of
Gordon Willis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say House
Prince of Darkness.
Yeah. Underlit is so noir. Yeah, so noir. Yeah, well, and then I love very clearly. I mean, it's just, with the Catholicism guilt themes and stuff, and then, like, he's atoning for he's in church thinking about his sins, and then it's that's juxtaposed with his the stuff that he's doing, and then the bar, which is where all that crap happens, is just, like, bathed in red, which is like I mean, it might be like, oh, it's like kind of on the nose, but it's not. It's just great. It's so great.
It's not on the nose because, again, it just feels like that feels like
it's
natural lighting,
it's motivated,
and it just feels like that's what that bar would look like. Yeah.
And it's so great. It's just really, really great. Oh, hey, Scorb. Well, Wakeford.
Oh, how?
Did Alice doesn't? Oh, that makes sense. I really want to see that, mostly because I can't. I really want to see as much early Ellen Burstyn as I can.
Great. What was the first Ellen Burstyn movie you saw? I think mine was Requiem for a Dream.
I mean, it probably would have had to be that I can remember. Or
I was so
I
blown
probably
away.
saw that before. Maybe I saw The Exorcist before. I don't know.
Oh, that might be true.
Sure.
I just remember being so blown away by her performance, and I was young when I saw Requiem. It was the first time where I was like, "Wow, that's an incredible performance!"
Yes, absolutely.
And then I was so taken aback that I actually sought out, and I think that's how I saw The Exorcist. Honestly, I was like, "Oh, she's in that," and I'd always heard about The Exorcist, and then I saw that. Yeah.
Wow, my two favorite movies. Oh, thanks, Scorb. How you doing? Yeah. But yeah, I just. I don't know, and so like it's funny every time, or when we were watching Mean Streets, when we were going through it, they're just at several different times. This is a weird thing that keeps reoccurring to me. One time a while back, and I think we probably talked about it here. Eventually, I'll say it. That Wes Anderson is that mentioned that Scorsese is one of his, like, strong prime influences. I mean,
what?
Yeah, and I was like, what? Like, Wes Anderson? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, and the more I watched both of them, I was like, Okay, not necessarily thematically, but in terms of like, and he takes it in a different direction. Wes does, but in terms of specific framing, bam, bam, very kind of like planned out shots, and then also just the extreme use of music, like very, very, very specific use of music. There are shots in.
I could see the music cue thing.
Definitely.
I mean,
I know that because you think of Wes Anderson, you go like, it's a Notebook, and there are hands coming in, and they're whatever, and that's like this. But there are other things that are like, I mean, there's shots in Mean Streets where like, it's just playing this very kind of sort of 50s 60s music, and then it goes into slow motion, and like, and obviously those are nothing, but there are just things about it where I was like, I see where Wes Anderson gets stuff from there.
I bet half of his music cues and all.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like half his music cues in any of his movies, that music cue in when they cut to him and it's Rolling Stones and it's Harvey Keitel in the bar. Yeah. That is such an impactful, memorable moment in that movie that I could see him just applying that to any, like when Gwyneth Paltrow gets off the bus in Royal Tenenbaums and she starts walking for it. That feels like a very parallel type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just very like it's in the sense that a Scorsese film feels, even though at times it doesn't, even though Mean Streets it definitely doesn't in places in a great way, but it feels very crafted. And it's like, I am telling you a story, and there is definitely an amount of style, definitely an amount of stylization, and it's almost like, I mean, Mean Streets is about desperate people clawing to survive in a world that's very violent and where they're just like, well, we got to screw this guy and screw this guy to keep my, and then I might get killed and blah 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 blah, and there's a lot of violence and whatever, but it is enjoyable because it's packaged so neatly and cut so specifically, and the humor
so real.
It is a little surreal. It's like a little bit. It's a little, I mean, whereas you watch a Wes Anderson movie and you go, this is like a storybook. This is like a, and I'm thinking more of something like I could see, like you look at like Hotel Budapest, that doesn't seem like a Scorsese movie, but something like Rushmore feels a little more like a Scorsese film.
Right.
Like, and
right.
or, so,
he's just moving further and further. Like Wes Anderson is moving further and further into picture book storytelling, which is fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I keep saying that, I'm like, is he pigeonholing himself? And then I see Grand Budapest. Is it Grand Budapest? And I really walked in and I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be able, like, is he gonna be able to get out of this corner? And then I walked out and I was like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want him to get out of the corner.
I was just like, he's doing it and he's just fine tuning it to like a surgical degree.
Absolutely.
Like it just keeps getting better and better.
And I never saw, oh, sorry, good.
Did you see Isle of Dogs?
I didn't. I really wanted to.
So a lot of people loved it. I thought it was a little lackluster. Frankly.
Interesting. I wasn't a gigantic, like, I love Wes Anderson. He's one of those guys who anytime they have a movie, I'm by definition interested. I want to see it.
No, Grand Budapest. We're talking about Wes Anderson and how he was oddly enough heavily influenced by Scorsese.
Right.
Yeah. And we went off on a tangent.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge. Everyone went nuts. Like, Rushmore is my favorite film of all time.
Really?
It really
That's your
is.
number one?
Well, it's tied. It's Rushmore
in terms of like impact and stuff, like
everything. Like just the three. Like I said, Rushmore, All the President's Men, and The Sandlot are the three movies that I have ever finished watching and gone, I would not change a frame of them.
Yeah. And isn't it crazy how, I mean, Rushmore, wasn't all of it filmed in Austin?
A lot of it was filmed mostly in Dallas, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Dallas and Houston.
I know they used the parking lot.
Or just
the
Houston.
Parking lot scene where they're flying the plane.
Is in Austin?
Oh, yeah. It's right off of 71.
I didn't know there were Austin locations in Rushmore.
Do you know
I thought
where
it was mostly
the
Houston.
Central Market south, like way south off of 71 and 290?
Maybe.
And I pass by it like almost.
I would recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know where Hobby Lobby is off South Lamar? It's like a stone's throw away.
Really?
Yeah. I've done time lapse in that parking lot, and then afterward, I was watching Rushmore. I'm like,
Are you talking about where they're flying? Where Margaret Yang is flying? I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I love that movie so much. It's so great. Lackluster. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. Like, I have a weird thing about Wes Anderson. We're gonna go off on a tangent here, but did you like Fantastic Mr. Fox?
So I wasn't crazy about it.
See, me neither.
Everyone was like, "It's amazing." I was like, "Okay," and then I was like, "I like seeing." I don't know. I haven't seen it a second time, so maybe watching it again, I'd be like, I know what I'm in for and whatever. But like, and it's because it's just a different kind of. But I like seeing his storybook sensibility applied to real life, but then also because like again, like if you. And to me, and I always had this theory, and it's been disproven a couple times, but I still hold to it. But I don't know if it's true for you. Where your favorite Wes Anderson film is the first Wes Anderson film you saw. And for me, it was Rushmore. And then I went back and saw Bottle Rocket, and then saw Tenenbaums. And I think for a lot of people, their favorite Wes Anderson film is Tenenbaums because it was the first one. That was the one that got nominated.
Right.
And I remember when that happened.
That was the first one I saw, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when it got nominated, I was like, oh, whoa, oh, crazy.
Yeah.
So he's like...
He's big time.
Being recognized by because I was like I loved Rushmore and then like I was like excited for Tenenbaums and then I was like yeah I liked it, it's solid. A stone's throw away from Hobby Lobby is the emo song we deserve. I went in and there was a sale on angel statues for my mom. Whatever. Anyway.
That's great.
And fake rusted metal signs. Okay.
I think the thing about his stop motion stuff is that his humor is so subtle and deadpan that for me it almost requires a human like component in terms of like facial the subtle acting that is needed because I would argue that the writing is still as sharp as any of his live action movies. It's just that without that human actor component, a lot of it is just getting lost in translation, kind of.
Yeah. I that's funny that you said that. I never really thought about that, but I do remember sort of, it's strange because it is, sorry. Yeah.
Well, it's just like,
it's almost not whimsical enough, which sounds crazy for me. Like
it's.
So we're seeing that Fox and then hearing Clooney's voice come out of it, but he's not doing any. Like he's just kind of going like I'm George Clooney and this is how I'm talking and this is how I feel.
And I love George Clooney.
I do too.
But that always did feel mismatched to me. But like even Bill Murray in that movie, I'm just like I always think about the shot. There's a wonderful, and it's like one of the funniest moments for me is in Royal Tenenbaums when they go to the roof and he's talking with Luke Wilson. Luke Perry. I wanted to say that too. He's talking with Luke Wilson, and I think he says something. He's like, we're gonna get him.
Oh yeah,
we gotta get him. And then he like smashes something.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray is like, he's kind of taken aback, and he just kind of turns to the camera like this, like kind of like scared.
Yeah.
He's just like,
yeah.
And it's such a. Like that's not something that would be in the script, even though like you could probably Wes was probably like, give me a little something of this, but he does it in such a beautiful, subtle way that I'm like, you would never get that moment in a stop motion thing. And it's such an honest, small thing that I feel like are peppered throughout all his live action movies.
It really is because it feels that's a really good point. When he takes the human element out of it, like that's what it is. What's great about it is this storybook aesthetic matched with human beings who are not.
Then it becomes interesting.
Yes, and it's also like you go, it's like a storybook movie, and you go, oh right, cool. So everyone's like sweet and like no, they're kind of dicks to each other.
Oh, and that's what it's
great.
He subverts it, but presents it as a storybook. Yeah,
which again, that's sort of to me meshes with this sort of sense a little bit with the Scorsese sensibility,
right?
Because Goodfellas is like a slam bang good time.
Yeah,
like I love watching Goodfellas. It almost feels like a comedy.
Yeah,
it's like that's why everyone loves Scorsese the most because it's just like loves Goodfellas the most because it's like that's the one I want to watch 20 times.
Right?
Because it's just so fun, and then you watch it and go, oh gosh, it's like. there's a lot of terrible stuff
Yeah,
happening. It's
right.
like, and like Casino even.
The
You're
fact
just like,
that you love Joe Pesci and you're just like, you love him.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, Joe Pesci,
Yeah.
Goodfellas is great. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just he's oh gosh. Well, that's everyone gets a shot then. It's Madeline. That's crazy.
There are so many stories about Bill Murray in Austin during South by Southwest every year where he'll just walk into a bar and he'll start bartending.
Yeah.
And then he'll leave. And then I think a couple of years ago, he was bartending and some kid was like, I'm having a house party after this if you want to come. And Bill was like, yeah, I'll come. And then he actually showed up to the house party and was handing out drinks and like pumping the keg and like,
which is there's a fine line, right? Like you have to be a certain level of celebrity and a certain tone of celebrity to do that. Because if I did that in like, I don't know, Luke Perry or just somebody, if like, I don't know, like if someone actually showed up, it's almost like that, like, hey, I really showed up at your party, and then it's like, oh, this is weird.
Well, the precedent, like, you could summarize it in this one story that no one knows if it's true, but because of all the other stuff I've heard about him in Austin, it seems true, is that he'll walk up to people in the street and walk up behind them and put his hands over their eyes, and then he'll take them away, and they'll turn around, and he'll just go, no one's going to believe you. And then he'll walk off.
That's great. That's great.
Like he's like celebrity. I think he thinks celebrity is stupid.
Right.
But he also enjoys it, so he's like, I'm gonna have fun with it.
Yeah. He's like the subversive. Yeah. He lives in Charleston. Yeah. So he lives in your town, which is insane.
When you say interesting, does that mean he's a dick?
Even if he was, you go like, yeah, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like he just.
Has Bill Murray been in a Scorsese movie? It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I would really like that.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd really like that. Man.
But anyways, back to Mean Streets.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's just...
Oh, sorry. Before we get off of Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And it's something that kind of, like... I think, and in the same way that Mean Streets, that in Mean Streets, Scorsese just kind of allows these just human foible moments to kind of unfold that are violent and kind of scary, but also funny at the same time. Like, I love Wes Anderson's. There's a thing that he does, and it's really mainly when he's working with Owen Wilson or Luke Wilson, because they kind of came up together and kind of sort of. Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson actually like met in a UT screenwriting class.
Yeah, they did.
Which is crazy, yeah.
And then they co-wrote their first like 3 or 4 movies together.
Right, and I love them.
Have you seen the short film for Bottle Rocket?
I don't know.
It's like shot in black and white.
Yes, I think I have seen it.
An alleyway in Austin. Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that. But I just love. He has this way of. I love his depiction, and the choice to depict. Futile, pathetic anger. Mm-hmm. Like, just this, like, and I can't remember the scene that you mentioned, like where it's like, and it's just, but it's like in a wide shot and it looks stupid.
Yeah.
Because people getting mad look stupid.
Right.
Or because in your head it feels like, yeah. And there's this great, like one of my favorite things in Rushmore is like he goes. What is he? Because there's the Scottish kid, right, in Rushmore. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
Hey, he's like, why don't you piss off yet? That really skid. Or like, I always wanted to be one of your fucking films. Like,
yeah,
I love it.
right.
It's like, I know you debug. I love that. I love it so much. But people getting mad looks stupid. Another emo song. Absolutely.
You're right. Like a person getting mad in a wide shot, then it just becomes a tantrum.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But also,
that's a really, I'm gonna remember that as a director.
Absolutely. But I just love, because there's a thing where is it something Buchan tells Dirk Calloway that it's so specific that Max is only his chapel partner because his mom is hot. Mm-hmm. Which is such out of context. That sounds like the weirdest sentence ever. And so he's like, well, tell that. He's like, what does he go? He's like something his Irish ass, and he's like, he's Scottish. He's like, well, tell that stupid. He just made my list of things to do today. He uses a slur against Irish people, and then it like follows him on this steady cam thing where he goes, "Hey, Buckin," and he like runs up to him and it's like dung 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 dung, and he like runs, he's like pulls his arm out to the, and Buckin just he just catches his arm and just goes, and he just drops to the ground and he's like, whatever, and he's like, "You stupid butt," and he's like, "Huh," and he just gets, and it's just so great because it's just this build up and then it's just like, no, no, man. I just love it.
Just a cold dose of reality coming back at him.
I love it. I just love his. I mean, just his characters are pathetic in a way, but like but he loves.
But that's
them
what makes them relatable, because everybody spends so much time trying to hide their pathetic, selfish feelings of like, well, you know, why did that person do that? But if you kind of look outside yourself, it's just like because you're just one of many people on the planet, and things are gonna happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff.
Honestly, she's saying that he can be a dick. Like, the rule is to only interact if he invites it in.
Which, that's fair.
Even if he wasn't a celebrity, that's how I would. That's how I want people to treat me.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, and like he's just a like if Bill Murray walks into a room, it's an event for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you'll talk about forever. So I feel like he gets to be like.
I mean, can you imagine how tiring that would be? To be that level of famous and like just everywhere you go, people are and especially with him where people are like, oh, he's gonna do something funny and memorable.
Oh gosh,
like that would make me an embittered asshole.
Yeah,
it really
or just
would.
somewhat, and then you just like walk in and be like, what are you gonna do, Bill Murray? And like Bill Murray shanked a guy, he stabbed a guy. Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
He's just like he's
he
just
stabbed
loser.
me.
Yeah. So many friends on Facebook post pictures with him and doesn't even try to smile. That's funny. Well, good for
But so when this movie came out, like, so Pauline Kael, who we've talked about, who was kind of seminal in getting a lot of these early new Hollywood movies.
She kind of became
the notoriety.
She's like the tastemaker.
She was. I mean, exactly. Yeah. She was the tastemaker, and she just fell in love with it. And because she fell in love with it, everyone else was like, "Oh, this,
I better."
Because she was like, "This is an American classic.
Yeah,
like, this is a stone cold American classic." And again, when you think about it in context, like, it's kind of interesting how you keep saying how modern it feels, and I think it's because it set a precedent for how movies were made from then on out. And I think Easy Rider as well, but Mean Streets even more so, because frankly, Mean Streets is a more comprehensible.
Yeah, sure.
It tells a legitimate story from A, B to C.
And
it's much more on a story level, frankly, more satisfying.
Yeah, and Easy Rider, I really enjoyed. It's just much more episodic. It's much more like bing, 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 like set piece. I mean, they're just like scene, and in the middle they're just driving. And this is much more.
Easy Rider feels like a movie that was saved in the edit room, like legitimately saved in the edit room, based off how awful the shoot went, and all the history of how like nightmarish it was. It seems like it was saved in the editing room. Mean Streets feels like it was legitimately crafted from beginning to end by one person, and it does have such a modern sensibility that I think you can look at it now and not realize it's like, no, it set the precedent for what a modern movie is supposed to be.
Exactly.
In terms of like making it feel like getting your camera, just throwing it on your shoulder, getting in some rooms, and just letting actors act like real people, not movie acting.
And it's so funny how, and I guess, and it's all of it comes together, and it's interesting because at a time where we were moving. It's interesting because with all this new Hollywood and all this experimentation sort of coming out, and true art was being made, and people just being personal and kind of avant-garde even at times, we were also moving toward Spielberg and Lucas, who were going to take this sort of spirit of creation and sort of, on purpose or not, tighten it and create something that sort of packages all emotions and just kind of is very concise and his way. And Scorsese is somewhere in between. Like Scorsese is like absolutely, I think, I mean he's he's the student of like if you ask if you're like what director is a student of cinema it's absolutely Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like not that the other dudes don't know cinema, but like Scorsese is the like poster child for film lovers, right? Or for being a film lover. Yeah.
Go on YouTube and watch any interview Scorsese did with Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
And you will get 2 hours of like masterclass film talk where he will and he just pulls them out of his brain like he's an encyclopedia of film. It's borderline scary, but he talks in such like I always say that like if I'm ever feeling down as a filmmaker, I'll go and watch one of those interviews because he like even in his 70s he speaks with such passion, and there's a look in his eyes and how he talks about cinema as a whole and how important it is, and how he, to this day, after all the stuff he's gone through and the ups and downs and everything, he talks about it with such reverence, and but like in terms of like, he just thinks it's legitimately magical. Yeah. And like he, you know, he's not Spielberg. Like Spielberg is, and you know, I think Spielberg is a legitimate artist. Yeah. But he came up making the popcorn pictures. Right. The most brilliant popcorn pictures of all time. Right. And then he showed his artistic prowess with Schindler's List, and you know, he went darker as he aged. But you know, Scorsese is, I feel like, I'm sure there have been moments in his career where he probably looked at Spielberg and was envious of his own trappings of like having to be, frankly, a true diehard artiste. Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying, is that like he is this dude. He is this like if you're like, you know, if you go who's your favorite director, and you go Scorsese, and you're like, oh, okay, and like you can be like, which makes me a real film fan. So I mean, he is the artist, but he's kind of like the popular one, or the populist artist. He's not, because he makes. I'm not saying that he doesn't make art. He makes tremendous art. It's amazing. But it's. I mean, well, you watch something like Mean Streets, and it's not inaccessible in any way.
No,
it's immediate. Yeah, it's so immediate, and that's what makes it amazing. And it's
because he has an artistic mindset, but he loves telling personal. He puts personal stories first and foremost, even if it's stuff that, like, I mean, he's the only guy that, like, I went in, when he made Hugo, and I was like, oh, wow, he's taking a stab at a children's movie. Yeah. And then I saw Hugo, and I'm like, oh, he made it. And it's a brilliant, like, truly brilliant movie. And it's a kid's movie wrapped in this amazing appreciation for film preservation. Like, that's what that movie is. And it's stunning. It's stunning. But it's just like he can't help himself. He's just like, I got to get these things out. I got to get these personal things that I care about into any work that I ever do. I'd
have to I wasn't crazy about it when I watched it, but I would totally be open to reconsidering. Would you say he's made any bad films? I'm not. Well, I wasn't crazy about Hugo, and I wasn't crazy about Shutter Island.
What did you not? Oh wow, I love Shutter Island.
Really?
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Oh, I love Shutter Island, and I love Hugo. I love them. I think they're some of his best movies.
Interesting.
And I think I revisit Shutter Island more than a lot of his other movies because the photography is so sumptuous, and then it spins everything on its head. Like, I just love, it feels like the most well-produced Agatha Christie novel of all time. So it like, just that whole milieu of like, it's a noir, but it's psychological, and it's a mystery. And but then it turns everything on its head later on, and it turns on its head again. And it's saved, to me, at first I was like, oh, this ending's going to ruin it. And then it keeps going, and I'm like, oh, and then this ending makes it brilliant. And so I love that movie.
I'd rewatch that one. That was the one where Elias Koteas was in it, and I was like, that's Robert De Niro. It's not. Who? No, Elias Koteas, the guy who, I never know how to say his name. Elias Koteas, who played Casey Jones, is in Shutter Island and looks exactly like Robert De Niro. Like, exactly.
Who did he play?
He's a kind of crazy bearded guy in the movie. Okay. I don't know. Because he does. He looks like De Niro. But
I'm gonna look him up.
The guy, Casey Jones in the Ninja Turtle movie. But
oh, cool.
First twist movies that wouldn't ruin for me was seeing. So that, I I don't know. I feel like I would rewatch it. I would rewatch it. But
what did you not like about Hugo?
I felt like where you were talking about where you said it was this beautiful marriage of a children's story and sort of this appreciation for film. To me, it felt I love him. He's awesome.
He's great.
So great. He's in a lot of
he always pops up and he just crushes it. He's in Thin Red Line and he's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, he's so great. And if he didn't look exactly like Robert De Niro, I think he would have.
I never would have thought that until you said it. Now that's all I can see. Yeah, he does.
Well, especially in that movie where he's like, I don't know. He works a lot with Adam McGoyan, the Canadian, or has a couple times at least. Anyway, whatever.
What do you not like about Hugo? Justify it.
So it's been years, but where you said it was like this children's story and this synergy of a children's story with this love of cinema. To me, it felt like
it's two halves, kind of.
Yeah, and it felt like it was a children's story that turned into like I was like. It felt disjointed, and I was kind of like, you wanted to just say this.
Right.
Just make a documentary or do something saying this and talking about, Méliès and all, or whatever, like all that stuff. And it felt, but it's a book too. And I think.
Right, I know.
And so I don't know if I feel like that second part was maybe drawn out more by Scorsese, but I'm not sure. I haven't read the book because it's watched with Wes. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. It is a lovely film. It is a lovely film.
But I will say, now that we're kind of talking it out, I will say that I ended up loving the movie because of the second half.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll agree that it feels like two halves.
Sure.
Like you got the children's movie and then you got the history portion, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't, yeah. But it is like, I mean, it's a good testament to his tremendous versatility, which is so, because the only ones that anyone ever talks about are Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street now, The Departed, people don't really talk about Raging Bull that much. For as much as it's Raging freaking Bull, and people are like Raging Bull, they don't talk about it that much. And Raging Bull really is amazing.
Do in terms of like they're like that is his best movie.
Yeah, I think Raging Bull is something else. Yeah. You because I remember going into it and kind of being like, all right, like I'd seen clips from it and I was like, all right, just another like, and these are great, but I love, it's like look at these tough Italian working class dudes who like care a lot about family, care a lot about each other, but are also, very kind of like, they got a lot of anger. They kind of hit their wives probably. They're going to say something racist. It's going to like whatever, but it's going to be funny too. And you're going to love them, but you're going to be like, I'm glad I don't know them and hang around with them, but whatever.
Right.
And I was like, it's like another one of those and they're great. Like I really do enjoy those. And it is a little bit of that, but then it just, oh gosh, the photography in that film, the score, the editing, and then just this sort of, like, I just remember kind of being like De Niro, he's good in it. De Niro's good. I remember just being like, he's good. He's being good. He's being real good. This is solid. But I'm just as impressed by him as in this other movie and this other Scorsese movie. He's just doing the tough guy thing and whatever. And then there's that lot where he's just, and I'm like, oh God, there it is. That's it. Yeah. That's it. And I just love. I don't know if I ever let you borrow that thing. I had a collection of Fresh Air interviews, and one of them was with Scorsese. Oh no, it wasn't with Scorsese. It was with Thomas Schoonmaker, his editor.
Oh wow.
And it's great. And she tells these stories about Raging Bull, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it's just like this whole they were talking to, because she ended up marrying Michael Powell.
Michael Powell, yeah.
Right. And it was Powell's idea to make it black and white. Or no, it wasn't that she just said there's this beautiful moment. I guess we'll talk about it again when we watch Raging Bull, which is so great. But he was showing, I don't know if it was dailies or what, or no, it couldn't have been dailies. Like there were something, whatever. But he was like, they were looking at it and he was like, they were just he was talking about how like the red of the gloves was just going to throw the whole thing off.
Oh wow.
He was like, I just the red gloves. I don't know. And then the way she describes it is that it was just like he said that, and then like the very next instant he goes like, you're right, it should be in black and white. And they just both kind of like done, and she just like, it was stunning to behold because they're both like
they saw it at the same time.
They're both
yeah.
The same like on the same wavelength, and it's just, it's because of that movie. I mean, just I don't even know. And he was like, it's black and white, like those old life photos of boxing, and it's just like,
and that's what it feels like.
It is.
It really does.
So great. It's amazing. And then, it's so fascinating. Oh, it's so fascinating. She talks about how like when they were trying to I don't know, Sugar Ray, like when he drops, I think it's Sugar Ray. Was a boxer when he drops to his knees. They weren't quite getting it. It was like in the editing room. She was like, I don't know. And then in the middle, she inserted a frame of it happening. Like she flipped the frame. There's like a frame in there of it happening upside down, and somehow that like gave it the impact that it needed. And I was like, that's insane.
That is insane.
That doesn't make any sense.
And I have no way would be able to even compare myself, but like I understand the notion of like sometimes you just born out of frustration of something not working, that you try things that you would never have thought to have tried, and you're like, why is that it?
Yeah.
And it's not it because I have no other options. It's just that's it because that's what it needs to be.
It works. Yeah, it's so great. Shutter Island is Raging Bull is great. Yeah. If you had to choose, what would be your favorite Scorsese film?
Oh man.
The thing with Scorsese is he's got so dang many that you forget. Like I forget them. I will like. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna look up a. I mean, I forget. See, I forgot Taxi Driver. I forgot.
Well, I was gonna say,
Driver.
so I've probably seen Taxi Driver the most. So I do love that. I love Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I love The Departed. I think The Departed is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing.
I
love
came out of
crime movies. I fucking love crime movies, and it is one of the best crime movies ever. Like it's so good.
And before it's Wolf of Wall Street, I came out of The Departed like so amped up.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to fight somebody.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna do, but I was just like, oh, it's so much good.
Yeah. And I feel like it became that movie where it's like, oh, you like The Departed.
Yeah.
And it became that kind of movie in pop culture, but like it is a great movie.
So great. Okay. So hold on. We've got.
I love Age of Innocence. I think it's his most emotional film.
Yeah. Silence. Let's see. The Wolf of Wall Street. Hugo.
I forgot about Casino.
Yeah. Shutter Island.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear. Totally forgot about it. The Departed. The Aviator. Gangs of New York. I've never seen.
Gangs of New York.
I've heard that. I've heard that reaction.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, he just sat with it for too long. Like, and then he did it, and it's just there's a lot in that movie, and there's a lot of passion, and it just didn't quite. It's honestly one of his lesser works, in my opinion. It's still highly entertaining to watch, but it just felt like he just loved it so much for so long that he was just like when he finally got the chance to do it, and it was just like a lot of threads going everywhere at any given moment.
Did you see Silence?
I haven't seen Silence.
Very deeply personal I feel.
Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It looks
absolutely
stunning.
Yeah.
Like photography wise.
Bringing Out the Dead, which I haven't seen. I really want to see it. I feel like I'm gonna love that. I feel like I'm gonna love it. I feel like I'm gonna love it so much.
I would say Taxi Driver, Age of Innocence, Bringing Out the Dead.
Really? That's great.
I don't know though. Like it really is hard to choose because Raging Bull,
Casino.
He's just got too many great movies.
Goodfellas.
Cape Fear is awesome.
Yeah.
Last Temptation is awesome. And they're awesome for different reasons.
Michael Jackson bad.
It's interesting that you're right. Like he gets pigeonholed as the gangster guy, and I'm like, sure, he's done a lot of movies about that, but not as many as you'd think.
Yeah.
And everything else is like crazy different. And
it's just and then you've got tons of movies that have aped that and tried to be like, I'm the Goodfellas of
and
this.
So it feels like he's done more probably than he really has.
Yeah. Last and I'm scrolling past all his documentaries. Like I'm not even like counting Last Waltz and stuff like that. The Color of Money. Yeah. The Color of Money's fine. It's just that's one where I'm kind of like, is this? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm like, this isn't high Scorsese
Right.
kind of
Every
thing.
time I see Cape Fear, I think of the Simpsons parody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But Cape Fear's awesome.
Cape Fear, yeah.
Have you ever seen the original with Gregory Peck?
I'm not. Isn't
Neither
that
have
awful?
I. Yeah, neither have I.
Oh, well, let's do it right now. So I want to see.
What did you not like about Wolf of Wall Street? I can't remember what the intro is, so why couldn't you make it past the intro of Wolf of Wall Street?
Is it just him walking and talking to camera? I think that's what that is. Shark Tale?
Oh yeah,
Wait.
he voiced a character in Shark Tale.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the shark looks like him. It's got eyebrows.
Oh, you're gonna find out? Yeah, no, I'm doing it terrible. Half. I don't even know what that was. I feel like.
Oh yeah, smoking, doing some blow
Oh yeah.
from
the lady's anus.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street is.
we've all been there.
Sometimes you're the sniffer, and sometimes you're the anus.
It's so funny because like he is such, when you see him in interviews, I'm just like, oh, I just want to give Scorsese a hug because he's just like this small, tiny little, like really neurotic kind of.
Yeah, he wanted to be a priest.
He wanted to be a priest, and then I'm like, what is it like to be on set and watch him direct these highly gratuitous scenes of violence or sex or anything? And like, there's a documentary on the Goodfellas DVD where you kind of see him talking about stuff like that. It's one of the scenes where someone gets capped, and it's interesting to watch him really watch him direct.
Yeah.
And he's just walking through the scene, and he's telling like his cinematographer, and I think he's blocking it for his actors, and he's so in his head as he's talking that he's not even really making eye contact. He's like, and then you're gonna come over here and you're gonna say fuck that dude, and then you're gonna blow his brains out, and then you're gonna really get in his face, and you're gonna fucking blow his brains out, and then he walks over here and he's like, and then you're gonna slap her around and blah blah blah, and it's very pragmatic and matter of fact, and it was just interesting because he doesn't make eye contact. He's just looking at the set, just like, and then you're gonna do this and this, and then you can see him working it in his brain, and I was like, oh, so that's what it's like. You become a different person.
He's like a violent Woody Allen.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Margot, I need you and Leo to go on all his money. Yep, that's right. There you go. People have asked this before, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just so tempted to say Goodfellas because it's the one that I would want to watch over and over and over and over and over again.
Sure.
But like, how do you say anything is better than Raging Bull?
I know that's probably like in terms of personal and
Taxi
artistic
Driver
prowess.
is crazy.
That's probably his. It's like saying, it can be like Spielberg in terms of in terms of art. I would probably put Schindler's List up there at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But a legitimate argument can be made that that's devaluing Raiders or Jaws or E.T. or Jurassic Park, because those are also art. Just because it's mainstream and popcorn doesn't make it not art.
Person isn't the best. It's your favorite, and I don't know. I honestly, there are enough that it's been. But I've never seen Last Temptation. There are a couple. There are enough that I haven't seen that I'm like, I can't.
Does favorite mean what you revisit the most? Because that would be Goodfellas for me too.
Yeah.
Or The Departed. But I don't know if those are.
So I definitely like Goodfellas better than The Departed. I definitely like Goodfellas better than Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Casino is fantastic, but I like Goodfellas better than Casino. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I freaking love Mean Streets. I really do.
Yeah.
Mean Streets is great.
His movies are legitimately hard to rate.
I know.
But so is Spielberg for me. Like, it's very hard.
Yeah, there's some of these things where you're just like, well, there's
like, just too many like stuff that like landmark films.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Like when you really sit back and you're just like, wow.
Yeah. Picking between Scorsese.
Just between those two guys.
I know.
Think of all the movies they've made. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like those two guys in particular. Like even more so than like, I don't know, Michael Mann or something.
And
it's just like the sheer
breadth
breadth and the how prolific they are with how many classics they have under their
And
belt.
it's so interesting that because everyone feels so, I feel like we connect so personally with them and that's part of the reason it's hard to pick. Because I'm like, I don't want to leave you out in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's
why rating movies, frankly, like even having a top 10 is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, they can all be great, and you can have two that you like just as much for different reasons.
But Spielberg, but like it's hard to I feel like it's hard to come up with another director like that where I feel that as intensely with Spielberg and Scorsese. Like Sidney Lumet, I love Sidney Lumet. He's my favorite director. I think, and he's got a lot that I love, but I'm kind of like, but Dog Day is my favorite. But Dog Day is my favorite. Serpico is fantastic. Network is fantastic. 12 Angry Men. Dang it, that's hard. 12 Angry Men is fantastic.
But Dog Day
is my favorite. Yeah. With Spielberg, it's like, oh, I can't choose because it is like, if you're an Indiana Jones, it's Indy, it's Jurassic Park, which is like this maybe the most memorable film, like a theater going experience of my life. Yeah, stuff like Schindler's, Munich, even
Minority Report.
Stuff I was gonna say you forget about stuff like Minority Report.
Minority Report is a stone cold classic.
I know. But then I go, Catch Me If You Can is over here, and I love Catch Me If You Can.
So good.
You've got, but there's stuff. They just have made so much amazing like Empire of the Sun. Like there's just stuff that you just go. I don't even.
Great.
Yeah, you just like I don't even remember that they've done it. You know what? Honestly,
Hook.
How can I choose anything above Hook?
I know.
I know.
That's why I said it.
Yeah. Catch Me If You Can is amazing. I love The Terminal. No one does. I love The Terminal.
But the thing is like, I don't not like The Terminal. It's just that, again, it's when you have a catalog like his, I put it at the low end of the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only... Yeah, I mean, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
We talked about this last time, did we? One of your favorite movies probably Treasure Planet. That's awesome.
He can't shut up about The Terminal.
The Terminal.
Loves The Terminal.
Oh, yeah, you talked about this. Yeah. We're there. You and me, Madeline. You and me. Victor from Krakosia. You know who else is kind of like that is the Coens.
I have a...
I know.
I know.
So do I. I know which one.
I completely agree, but like Sidney Lumet for you, I have a top line.
And it's when top to bottom. The other thing, the reason I thought of that is that like top to bottom, they're just mostly amazing.
Well, they came out of the gate. I mean, Blood Simple is fascinating to watch because they came out even more so than Mean Streets with Scorsese. Blood Simple, their first film. They came out fully formed as filmmakers.
See, and that's interesting.
I think they came out
see where you're coming. I see where you're coming from.
The craft, the intention with the photography, like that shot where they go down the bar and then they go over a passed out guy and then they come back down. Yeah. I mean, the slyness of the humor.
Yes,
it's all there.
It's that I'll say that all the elements are there. Like
it's all there.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's all there.
Alice,
don't make an argument.
Alice, thank you for the host. Yeah, how are you? I just don't think it's
great.
It
is a perfect companion piece to what I consider because I think it's a perfect film.
Yeah. Good.
No Country is it's everything. It is a perfect film for me, and it's a perfect companion piece to Blood Simple. Like those two are like very
absolutely.
They even have an identical opening. Identical. Voiceover over Texas landscape. Like it's identical.
Kind of about
the themes of what you're about to get into. Like literally, it's identical.
Yeah. It's rougher than the others.
It's not.
You don't think so?
It's not rough.
That's interesting.
Mean Streets is rough. Still,
you think Mean Streets is rougher?
It's rough, but it's still very well crafted.
Yeah, interesting.
Like some of the voiceover seems like it was done in like a hollow room type thing, and it could be intent. Like it could be intentional, but there's just certain things where it just seems a little rougher around the edges. But again, I love it. That also seems intentional.
Sure, yeah.
But from Taxi Driver on, he becomes much more polished in his photography. And I think completely for Mean Streets.
And I feel like after what was. Yeah, I think after Raising Arizona, they go, and everything looks like what we now recognize as a Coen film.
I think right out of the gate.
Interesting.
Like,
well, yeah,
it's
I've
all there.
I've had this I didn't have this conversation. Someone was saying it, and I was quietly disagreeing. But I'll we'll talk about it because I want to see what they did after Raising. But
what was their second movie?
Raising Arizona.
That was their second movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then I think Miller's Crossing. That's the thing. Like Miller's Crossing is like what? Miller's Crossing is where I'm like,
that's their third film.
I think so.
That sucks.
I know. It does.
How amazing that is.
I know. It really is infuriating.
Like what?
Because look at this. Yeah, what are you insane? Look at this. It's
Miller's Crossing is their third movie.
I know.
It's so good.
Not fair. Not effing fair. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
See you later, MCR fan.
Oh, see you later, MM7. Lots of love, dude. Yeah, because it's like, okay, so here we go. Yeah, you want to get mad. Just check out their filmography.
God, they're so good.
They really
They're
are.
so good.
And what reminded me of it was I was like, yeah, like stuff like you forget that Spielberg did Empire of the Sun. I forget about Minority Report half the time. War of the Worlds is freaking solid. I really like War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I like the first half of War of the Worlds.
Oh no, dude.
I hate that son in that movie though. Oh, I hate him. He's so annoying.
Isn't it Paul Dano?
No.
It's not? Okay.
It is not Paul Dano.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Is that a new? Oh, it's an anthology western.
What?
By Joel and Ethan Coen.
Wow.
I hadn't heard of that. That's freaking...
What does that mean, anthology western? Is it a TV show?
No, I think it's a movie that is just... Oh, crime. Well, hold on a second. No, Crime Wave was Sam Raimi. Hold on.
Yeah, do their director.
Yeah, that's some... It's hard. They're hard because it's like... Because you can only look up one of them.
So I know Raising Arizona is your favorite, right?
Raising Arizona is my favorite. Although, because like my favorites are the screwball ones. Like they really are.
So that's interesting. So you're a huge fan of Lady Killers.
I'm not.
I hate that movie.
That
is without question, that is the one I think is my least favorite Coen brother movie. I like their darker stuff. No Country, Fargo.
And the thing is, it's
Miller's Crossing. Those are my top three.
But
they're all super dark.
But there's stuff like I love Raising Arizona. But then there's stuff. I mean, there's stuff like Hail Caesar. I freaking loved.
Yeah,
like
I
it's just
that.
so great. And I love the more. And it's we listen to the audio of it in the car. But I love Burn After Reading. I love it. It's hilarious.
I think we talked about this.
Fargo's the good. Fargo's the happy.
It's a good happy medium.
I mean, it's like, but it's not like I don't. Like I love their other stuff. Like I love, but I'm just kind of like
Lebowski.
Oh, Lebowski. How do you Lebowski?
Oh, God.
How do you even
so amazing? Like Lebowski truly is.
Lebowski is the perfect combination. It's not Fargo. Lebowski is the perfect combination. Fargo's great, but like Lebowski is like. And the thing is, like,
because it's a Raymond Chandler film with a stoner in it. Like, it's so brilliant.
It is, like, and the thing is, you can forget about you can go down their filmography and forget to mention Lebowski.
Yeah.
And if any other filmmaker made Lebowski, you'd be like, that's their thing.
That's their one. Yeah.
Yeah, because so Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, Lebowski. Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink.
Oh, Barton Fink.
The Hudsucker freaking Proxy. Ugh. Fargo, The Big Lebowski. There's not
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
The Man Who Wasn't There.
Intolerable
Cruelty.
Oh, so they had two back to back where they kind of lost their way for a second.
Although,
then that's right because I remember
something weird about Intolerable Cruelty where it was like written by like a bunch of people. Yeah, Robert Ramsey wrote this story.
I remember that because I remember watching No Country because I had felt like I was like, oh, the Coens have lost their way a little bit. Because they had two back to back that I was like, I'm not liking these. And then I remember going and sitting down and watching No Country and literally having my nips blown off.
Yeah, I know. You're what now? Yeah, right. Absolutely. Hold on, dang it.
They did. They had a Chalamet moment, and then unlike him, they recovered.
Well, there's still time. No Country for Old Men. Burn After Reading. A Serious Man. How did you feel about A Serious Man?
Really? Great. Oh, it's good.
That's a movie where I watched and I was like, I am too dumb for this.
I watched it twice.
I'd need to. I've only watched it once, so maybe
I'm probably still too dumb for it. But
I never saw True Grit.
It's good.
Okay.
It's very good.
Freaking Llewyn Davis. Llewyn Davis.
I mean,
Llewyn Davis.
I would put it in a top 5.
Some of their movies are diminished because they have made so many. Like if you were a person, if you made 3 movies and one of them was Llewyn Davis, it'd be like this is The Godfather. You know? Hail Caesar, I love so freaking much. I love that movie.
So I haven't seen Split, and I've heard that it's cool. But then I heard from him that it ain't so cool. So I don't know.
I failed to connect with Split.
So I don't really know. Like I know people were like crazy about the trailer with bringing Unbreakable and Split and doing this thing, which I think is a great idea because I think Unbreakable is
Unbreakable's great.
Is great, and it's probably his second best, only to. I don't know. Like up till I love The Village. I'm one of those people that I thought that was a fantastic movie. And very well crafted. And then my main issue with him isn't even his writing. I'm like, it's hard to write stuff.
Yeah,
that's why I look at the Coens. I'm like, they write and direct, and it's constantly amazing. And I'm like, you guys are just on another planet.
Yeah.
So I can forgive that, but it's like,
interesting film.
Something about him. His movies were so well crafted until The Village, and then it seems like post Village. Something happened.
It was Lady in the Water, and then
it was
Happening.
Lady in the Water, and then The Happening, and
The Happening was weird.
As his sense of craftsmanship like went out the window. After Earth, like what is that? What is that movie?
I mean, he's kind of scrambling.
It's like a sci-fi channel movie.
Everyone turned against him, and he was scrambling to. I don't know. Signs is my favorite, Madeline.
Signs is great.
Signs is my favorite.
Ugh,
absolutely
so good.
To me, it goes Signs.
Yeah, The Happening was a mess. There is a scene where they're running from the wind. They're running from it. And Mark Wahlberg, as a scientist, do the impression, do it.
How you doing, Win? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I directed Entourage. I created Entourage. It's based on me and my friends. What are you gonna do, Win? What are you gonna do about it, Win? What are you doing? How you doing? My brother Donnie.
I love Mark Wahlberg.
I do, yeah.
He's great.
So the thing is, like, I can tell I love a movie when I love Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah.
That is a backhanded
compliment. Hold on.
That's a backhanded compliment. I don't mean it to be. But like the thing is, like, I love Mark Wahlberg in movies by David O. Russell.
Yes.
And then I also
Mark Wahlberg in I Heart Huckabees is my favorite Mark Wahlberg. Aloof, confused.
Yo, what are you gonna? No. Oh, sorry. No, senora, because the petroleum industry, they don't want you to know it. They don't want you to know what you're doing. Okay, so that's what you do. And you. Why were you talking about his coincidence? You talking about him? Why are you leaving him? I don't think you should come over to our side. I was talking to this lady. She's really smart. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Let's see what lady asked. Mark is gonna kill her. Oh, in The Happening. I don't know. I feel like I would. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know what happened with The Happening. And it's the same thing where it's kind of like, story-wise, it was hard to even, because I was kind of like, where did the craft go? Like, it's exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I kind of was like, he was just trying something different. He was like, what if I don't? Because forever, it was just like, with Signs, Unbreakable, The Village, you watch these movies and you're like, especially like Unbreakable and Signs, really, I think. You watch him and you go like, this guy wants to be Hitchcock. And but like, and you feel like saying you want to be anyone is an insult, but I'm kind of like, dude, give me someone who reminds me of Hitchcock. That's fantastic. Yeah. Like, I mean, De Palma is the same thing. Like, but like I don't really know.
Here's the thing. Like, that's great because I feel like I've never really connected with De Palma because I'm just like, oh, you just so clearly want to be Hitchcock.
Yeah.
But you're kind of trashy Hitchcock.
I've never seen really any De Palma.
Like
really.
Dressed to Kill or anything. Like, it's just like, oh, this is just Vertigo, but not good. I don't know. I have a real, like, I do not connect with De Palma. Even Untouchables and stuff like that. Like
Mission Impossible.
I think Mission Impossible is his best movie. And I know that probably sounds crass.
Mission Impossible is fantastic.
It's great.
It is so good. And the thing is, they're still great.
They're still great.
That might be the greatest franchise in the history.
Yeah, I still love the first one. I think the first
I
one
love
is
the
best one.
Because I mean, like, you think about the first one and just like just everything in it.
Yeah,
everything in it.
It's just
she's dropping the thing in the palm with the pen. He's dropping this, and you're just and it's just so great.
It's got the best opening half hour where they're in Prague. Wherever, like, when his whole team gets killed or whatever, and that's not a spoiler, that's how the movie opens, but, like, it's just also the movie's super old.
I've never seen Blowout, but I've seen Blow Up. Anyway, go ahead.
Blowout is great.
Blowout is it?
That was a
I want to
that
see.
one.
I want to see.
That's a De Palma I really like.
So I need to see that. I need to see. There's so much I've not seen.
I forget that's De Palma.
Blowout. Sisters I want to see, which I haven't seen. That's
I've never seen Carrie, which is I know.
Oh, Carrie, yeah.
Ridiculous, but
I've never seen The Untouchables. I've never seen any really De Palma.
Untouchables is good. It's just like he's revered for
Emilio,
and I just don't.
Hasta lasagna, don't get any on you. Blowout is a remake of Blow Up, but like
is it for real
with audio instead of photographs.
Wow.
Have you seen Blow Up?
I haven't.
So Blow Up, I was
that
like,
Antonioni,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember I was like, give me this Blow Up. So I do not. So I'll fully admit that this may be because I'm not on the same wavelength, and I don't like to trash a movie, and I don't feel like this is trashing a movie. But I watched Blow Up, and I was like, give it to me, and I watched it and was like,
you didn't like it.
What what? Like I just was like,
what?
No, I don't know any. Like I just didn't. I was like, what did I just watch? And then
when you say that, what do you mean?
I just didn't. Problem.
Do it.
We'll be right back. Scription. Thank you for. Oh. I don't know what happened. The subscription. Thank you, dude. Bravo, thank you. Thanks so much for this. Hit. 18 months of unbelievable support. Thank you so much, my friend. How are you? It's good to see you. Lots of love. Sorry that got cut short. I don't know. We kind of keep them short during filmography anyway, but I don't know what. Anyway, now I'm making it longer. Hey, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the resub. Lots of love. How are you? Good to see you. Blow Up. I was like, I watched it and I was like, I just didn't, like none of that seemed to fit together coherently. And I went and looked and I read the Wikipedia and then it said, this is what this means and this, because the last thing is something like.
Is it that just artsy?
So it's like this thing, the last scene, and it's been a while and I'm not, I don't know. But anyway, like the last scene is like this whole murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's something like he walks by a tennis court and there's someone hitting a tennis ball and then like the ball comes over and lands by his foot and then he picks it up and then throws it and there's some sort of sound cue where it's like there's something that had like the person hits it with a racket but it doesn't make a sound or something. There's something like that and it was like that is meant to imply that he is now out of reality and the world has kind of like this not like I don't know, I'd have to read but it was something where I was like that's not my fault for not getting it and I was like but it must be because it's world renowned. It is a it's a
yeah
classic,
but you know like
Hey,
Jean
Melville.
No, I love him.
Yeah.
Who's the other? Godard.
Oh yeah.
I have seen one, and I'm like, if they're all like this, then I'm gonna hate this guy. Like it seems like super. Like there's a lot of I feel like, European filmmakers from like the '60s that got a lot of cred for like deconstructing the format, but not doing anything else but deconstructing the format, and then telling us in their like bios and synopses what the film is about. And I'm like, no, that's not good art.
But here's the deal. Like it is. There's something to be said because like abstract art breaking the thing, and then other people like Scorsese come along and go, I'll take that and
sure
and give you parts of it within a more contextualized thing, and it's like. Thank you so much, Divine Cookies. And it's like thank you, subscription. Sorry, we're doing kind of truncated ones because during the talk show we try to keep it, but subscription. Thank you so much, Divine Cookies for those 14 months of unbelievable support. Thank you so much, my friend. Lots of love. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Problem. Thank you. But I legitimately want to do like, well, as we get when we get past the point where we're like New Hollywood, I definitely want to do, because I would woefully. I would love to do Blowout or Blow Up and then do Blowout. That'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
To pair them. I want to do De Palma too, because I haven't seen, like, Sisters is like Margot Kidder, and I'm like, ooh, interesting.
Oh wow.
I love Margot Kidder. Yeah, Carrie, stuff like that. Like, but I also want to like Godard, jump into all of this stuff. Tarkovsky, like.
Oh, I would love to do Tarkovsky.
Yeah, dude. Like, we'll just do like a whole block, or we'll come back to him, or whatever. Because Antonioni also has another film that I own, but I haven't seen, called The Passenger, with Jack Nicholson and Maria Schneider, where he's a journalist, and I won't spoil it because it sounds like it's a very interesting premise. And so that I'm kind of like, okay, that's more interesting. Like that sounds like I bought it just basically based on the cover, the people involved, and the synopsis, which I guess is what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do.
I mean, I've
So
never seen a
deep
trailer.
research, and then you, based off a well-informed opinion, you bought it.
Yeah. I live on the edge. Do Chinatown. We should totally do.
Yeah, we will be.
And Roger Rabbit together. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's great.
I love it. Also, I love Roger Rabbit so freaking much. Oh my gosh.
Me too. What happened to Zemeckis? I said it. All right.
He's doing Marwin Call. Oh, here's something.
I know. I saw the trailer.
I know. Here's or Marwin, because it's based on the Marwin Call.
The documentary's great.
Yeah, which I haven't seen, but it's supposed
it's
to be
great. It's just, why did you have to make that into a studio movie?
Here's something that turned into a heated argument the other day, and I did not mean to. But speaking of Zemeckis, can you think of a movie that is more widely quotable? Like, if you, now in this sense, if you walked into in or out of any place in America, canvassed the people around you across generations, any movie where you could go more quotes deep with the people across generations knowing what that's from than Forrest Gump. I'm really putting you on the spot, but
no, I think in terms of quotes deep.
Yeah, not necessarily that they're the.
Because, like, I mean, Taxi Driver and, like, even Midnight Cowboy.
I mean, there are tons of that's
but
what
they only have one.
Exactly,
you know?
one or two. Yeah, like even The Godfather, and it's a thing where, like, even people who haven't seen The Godfather, Taxi Driver, like, whatever, but they have to. So the rules are they have to be able to recognize the quote. It can't just be like, "Hey, Forrest, will you pick that thing up again?" Like, but like if because there's something like Run, Forrest, Run, which has the word Forrest in it, and people would be like Forrest Gump, but people also know that quote intimately.
Seats taken.
Right. I didn't even think of that one, but it's like Run, Forrest, Run. So first of all, it's like life is like, Mom always said life is like a box of chocolates, never know what you're going to get. Stupid as a stupid does. Yeah. Run, Forrest, Run. Jenny. Sometimes they're just on enough rocks. Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
You ain't got no legs.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I know that, Forrest. Just like Night at the Museum, National Treasure. Uh-oh.
Wait, what's happening?
No, people are just saying. But so we got so people were naming other ones, and I was like,
oh, okay,
like,
I see.
But because there are ones like, I'm gonna make him an offer I can't refuse.
But those are all one.
But it's just one or two. Like, can you know? And the other thing is like stuff like I'm walking here. Everyone goes like, I know that's a thing because I've seen it in other things making fun of it.
Oh, nobody knows that. That's from Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I thought it was from Taxi Driver.
I was about to say Taxi Driver, but it's absolutely Midnight Cowboy. Yeah. It's so in my head. Okay, but Wizard of Oz. So yeah, so someone mentioned Wizard of Oz, and I was like, that might be the other one. Then certainly,
sometimes they're just on enough rocks.
Now certainly across a long enough timeline, I think it will if it is Forrest. So I think Forrest Gump and Wizard of Oz are probably right here, like right next to it, because like Wizard of Oz says like I'll get you my pretty and your little. Well, I know I'd like to. There's no place like home. If I only had a brain. But like, but it's also like if I only had a heart. If I only had a whatever.
Put 'em up. Put 'em up.
Yeah. We're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, it's got a number. Right. It's got a number. But then Forrest Gump still has like shrimp this, shrimp that, shrimp that. Oh, Bubba, no! I just kept running.
I just kept running.
Even something like I gotta pee, like like it's now I don't know.
The whole shrimp sequence.
The entire
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think is his last? Someone said Flight.
A Flight was good.
What do you think is his last great movie? Because I would say it's What Lies Beneath.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I've never seen What Lies Beneath.
Oh, it's great. I watch it whenever I can. Honestly,
dude.
I've been waiting for it to come on Blu-ray because it's not, and I'm just like, it is a fantastic little thriller, suspense thriller.
My favorite one, and this isn't last because What Lies Beneath was after this, and so I think it was Forrest Gump. But the one that's like the dark horse that's in my heart is Death Becomes Her.
Oh,
I love that movie so much.
Kelsey bought that recently. It's great. It's so great. Yeah.
It's so fantastic.
Castaway is great.
Oh, Castaway. Yeah, definitely.
He had the ability, and then he took it. You know what happened is he went on that CG hiatus where for like 10 years he was only doing CG stuff, and it just wasn't connecting. Yeah. Just wasn't working. It has nothing to do with the scene.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with the scene. Well, maybe it does, but like it's just. He was making movies that you could...
Do it, diabetes.
He was incredible at making great movies that you could also just leave on in the background.
Yeah.
Like, everything up till Castaway was like, I could just put it on a Sunday afternoon while it's raining and just watch it. Romancing the Stone.
Oh, Romancing the Stone!
All the Back to the Future.
Back to the effing future.
Of the entire trilogy.
Back to the Future.
Because
It's a perfect film.
Guess what? And I know everybody's like, 1 and 2 are the best. I'm like, guess what? The third one... It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's almost a perfect trilogy.
They're all great. Yeah. And the other thing is, so like the thing about, because I was thinking about this Forrest Gump thing, because I was talking to Akash about it, and it was like, well, the other thing that really struck me is that even if it's not the top, even if Wizard of Oz or something is the top, because the things that we could think of to kind of toss up against it that ultimately I didn't think did it were like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, but like you still can't go 6, 7 deep. I think you can go further with Forrest Gump than you can do quotable lines from Indiana Jones. Like,
that's what changes that question.
Exactly.
Because by going
and it's not saying
quotes
like,
deep. Yeah. I'm.
Oh, Contact! I loved Contact.
Yeah, I think Contact's right.
But. Probably 50 times growing up. So did I. I used to watch it constantly.
It's so good.
And I don't know that I've seen Jewel of the Nile, which is, I don't know if it was him, but.
It wasn't him, but I heard it's not as, honestly, I can't speak for it.
Sure.
So I won't.
Sure, okay.
But boy, is Romancing the Stone good.
I watched it. I just had it, that was on repeat. I just kind of like kept watching it. It was like, okay. But like all those like the things you can throw Forrest Gump up against are like the only contenders are like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and again Wizard of Oz may actually.
Could you do Back to the Future? I'm trying to think. No, because I'm having a hard time.
He's an absolute dream.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time coming up with one right now.
And the thing is, like, yeah, it's true, and like I could, but the other component of the question is, you walk out into a room. Can everyone do it?
Yeah.
The largest amount of people. But the thing that's fascinating about Forrest Gump is that you're throwing these movies up against it like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Wizard of Oz.
We gotta go back.
And Forrest Gump.
Was that Lost?
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry,
No. But like,
I didn't mean to derail you.
Oh no. But these movies, right? Star Wars, Indiana Jones, largest, most popular franchise of all time. Wizard of Oz, one of the biggest, whatever. Forrest Gump is essentially a drama.
Yeah.
It's just a drama. These things are high concept, huge blockbusters. And Forrest Gump is like the drama that became a huge Like I think of it as a genre film, but it really isn't. It has this magical element.
What genre would you classify it as?
I think it's a drama. It is this new thing because it has this historical element to it. And it is like Zemeckis' film. Because that's like the hallmark of a Zemeckis film and kind of like a Spielberg film. He's like baby Spielberg, but also he just kind of is like, there's some sort of crazy technological advancement to a certain point up to, like in every single one of his, like Roger freaking Rabbit, Death Becomes Her. Yeah. Forrest Gump, you don't think of it as an effects heavy film, but it's like
you do.
All the stuff.
I watched I think I've probably seen Forrest Gump 30, 40. Like I watched it at like I would skip school a lot growing up, and I would always come home and watch my DVD, my two DVD case version of Forrest Gump because I don't know, when we switched to Blu-ray, it's like special features kind of they're not as good anymore. Yeah. But for a while there, like you would get these amazing documentary, and I remember just studying Forrest Gump because you're right. It doesn't seem like a special effects heavy movie, and yet it is. It was pushing the medium forward in amazing new ways, and really, it taught me, and Fincher too, how how you can use CG to really do amazing things without with genuinely not realizing that you're using CG. Like when Lieutenant Dan switches his legs over the boat rail, they cut the boat rail out and added it digitally in post, and they covered his shins in blue, and he was wearing like hot blue socks up to his knees. And that's how they did that.
And that's what I was saying is like, because you think of the things where he spliced into like shaking hands with Kennedy and stuff, and like,
right.
And it was
oh my God, yeah.
It's like the first time we'd seen that, and you go back and it's not entirely convincing, but it's like we had never seen that before, really, or I don't think to that.
It's still kind. I mean, with Lyndon Johnson being like, "Well, my God damn son."
Yeah, exactly. But the Lieutenant Dan legs thing, I would put that up against any other effect in the history of cinema in terms of the most convincing. Special, because it blew my mind.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind that like I'm like, okay, I get that they green screen, but you see
the nub
tie.
Yeah.
You see it tied off, and I was like, did they have it over his knee?
Yeah.
And like what? But it's just like you go.
It's great.
Like people, you just go and then like, you just like, did he have no legs? Like,
yeah, I know.
It's just unbelievable. And then you like, the kicker is that when Lieutenant Dan comes back, I think this is right. When he comes back to the wedding, when he comes to and he shows up with like his like Vietnamese wife or whatever, and
he's got the steel.
Yeah, and he goes, Lieutenant Dan, you got legs, and the camera I think it cuts as he pulls it up.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
And then it's got the pole, and then you go you cut, and then it pans up, and you go, you freaking show off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is great.
Magic legs.
Contact with Clinton speaking. They got in trouble? Interesting.
Wait, what?
Gimmicky to you, the stuff in the White House. Well, the movie is...
Oh, cool.
The movie... It's so crazy how... Because, like, the movie is moved along... It's so interesting. It's gimmicky without being gimmicky, because the gimmicks kind of just are like this, almost a side note. They kind of move the plot along in these ways that are like, and that affected history in this way, and that affected history. But the main through line is Jenny. And that...
Who, by the way, in retrospect...
is fantastic.
She's great. And it's a testament to your performance, because if you look at her character on the page, you're like, wow, you're a real monster. You might have given him AIDS.
Yeah.
You were selfish. She is. She's like the worst human being ever. But that kind of makes it...
some fruit company in Sapple, right?
You know, it makes his love for her. I don't know.
It is.
I want to watch it. I haven't seen it in years. Like probably since my teens, honestly. But I used to watch it all the time. And I remember there being a lot of... to this day, a lot of people are like, well, Pulp Fiction should have won. I'm like, no. No. Pulp Fiction is incredible and changed the face of movies and spawned a billion imitators. And Pulp Fiction is fantastic. But guess
Forrest Gump, dude. Like,
it earned that Best Picture.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And people, it's such a thing. It is such a, like, and that's the other thing is like, this is the drama that is as successful and famous and well-known as Star Wars and Jaws and like all of these
and it's a testament to not only Tom
Shawshank's
Hanks but really Zemeckis, because they tried to do this again completely with Benjamin Button, and it and I mean, this is Fincher working with material, and it did not work like at all.
You completely
disagree
with
didn't. That movie is dry as driftwood. Like it is so boring.
I think the saddest moment that was, and that's it. That is the moment for me. Night, goodness gracious! Like when he.
Oh my gosh, Shawshank's
unbelievable.
Was that the same year?
I don't know, because that's an unbelievable year.
If that's the case, then Shawshank should have won.
Really?
Oh yeah, without question, dude. Shawshank is one of the best movies of all time.
Shawshank is one of those movies where I go like, if you were just gonna be like, what movie would you recommend to literally anyone?
Shawshank Redemption,
and be like, there's no way you're not gonna like it.
You've never seen a movie before? You want to fall in love with movies? Watch Shawshank Redemption.
Gump is a tearjerker. But see, the thing is that Gump has the emotional center and just the truth to it, and also was groundbreaking. And there's never really been another story like it until Benjamin Button.
Isn't it the same screenwriter? I think it is.
I mean, that makes sense. They're the same year. Goodness.
I didn't realize
and
that
Shawshank is
was
crazy.
the same year. Shawshank
What a
is
year.
leaps and bounds
Is it 94?
above everything. It's just a
4?
testament to that movie. Like, it's that amazing.
That's 1994, right? Which is
What a year, yeah. No
Forrest Gump,
joke.
Shawshank,
Hold on. Let me pull up
and
the,
Pulp
let me
Fiction,
pull up
and
the
the next year
entire
was
catalog.
7.
Oh, man.
94, yeah. But opinions, sure. Shawshank, you totally disagree. You can't stand Shawshank?
Who said that?
That's amazing. I'm not like you're wrong. I'm just like, that's fascinating to me. How can you not? What's wrong? What do you not like about it? Because I am blown away by that.
Wait, it can't be 90. Was it 93?
No, it's
Made in 94. Maybe they won for 95 because 94 is The Piano, The Fugitive. Great movie. In the Name of the Father, Schindler's List.
The
And Revenge
Fugitive
of
was
the Day.
nominated for Best Picture. That's interesting. Quiz Show. What a year.
Oh, so it's 95.
What a year.
Quiz Show, Shawshank, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, Four Weddings and a Funeral.
I need to see Four Weddings and a
Yeah,
Funeral.
no, I think Shawshank is by far the clear winner. Why don't you like Shawshank?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that is off-putting for you? Because it is just a hell of a picture.
I'm with you. Sorry, jumping on that second one, but Shawshank, dude, Shawshank.
I would be very curious, and like, hey man, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Hey,
but like,
RoboCop.
I would just be curious to know why.
No, yeah, and I'm not like you're wrong. I'm like legitimately, humanly curious,
Yeah.
fascinated, because you're the only person I've ever heard say that, and I'm
Yeah.
not trying to make you feel. I'm just like, that's.
And I agree. Who really cares about I think giving out awards for art is pretty silly. And you know, I always heard that Louis B. Mayer of MGM.
Sure, Rufus.
Him and I think the three studio heads just got together and they're like, we need to come up with a ceremony to keep all these actors in line. And if we give them awards, then they'll do what we want.
But
so it's based off a very cynical premise of like.
But I love it.
I understand, and I understand why people love it.
Do you not love it? Don't you get a thing about the Oscars? Don't you love it?
Not anymore. No.
No. Well,
No. I don't. I think
I get mad every year now, but
I think it's silly to it puts unneeded pressure on movies who win.
oh yeah.
And then it makes, you know, when Shakespeare in Love wins over Saving Private Ryan, I'm like, oh, and it's not even about what's the best movie, because you can always make an argument that Shakespeare in Love deserved it, and maybe it did, but it's also like, does that devalue what Saving Private Ryan offered, which was change the face of what the war movie became forever?
Oh man. But then you can make kind of okay.
They got rid of that, Madeline. They got rid of that most popular.
I wanted
category
to talk to you about that because that's all.
because of the backlash.
Yeah, which like a lot of times.
Like, what does that mean?
Well, that's the things they didn't make. But a lot of times when something comes out and people like when they announce something or they go, "Here's a peek," and people go, "Ah," and they take it away. I go, "Dude, the internet ruins everything. Let these people do it." But this time I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
But let's talk about that a second. Quiz Show, I have to say, I love Quiz Show.
Yeah.
Quiz Show, I think I need to bump that up to like one of my, because like, and it is there. It's just, yes, and I say that more so because people just don't ever talk about it and they forget about it. It's amazing. I love Quiz Show so
it's really
much.
Good. I need to watch it again. I've only seen it once,
it's
but I
amazing.
remember really liking it. Oh, I don't think Shawshank's emotionally manipulative at all.
Interesting.
I think
story.
that I feel like, honestly, I feel Spielberg. I feel like Spielberg can be manipulative sometimes.
Thank you for
But
the subscription. What are you talking about? Is it a little bit about a quiz show? Yes, and it's effing riveting.
I think Green Mile's manipulative a little bit.
I'm not a fan of Green Mile.
I just think Shawshank's just perfect. I think it's a perfect
It's
movie.
really good.
It's great. I watch it all the time.
I mean, like the greatest ending of all. I mean, like
The
goodness.
music by Thomas
The
Newman.
music. Nameless No One, thank you for those 18 months of unbelievable support. Thank you so much. Oh, no more bone eating. Well, it's hard with the two. Yeah, I haven't been doing it. I need to get back to it. You're right. Please remind me always. It's just literally, it's about corruption in a quiz show.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
it's great.
It's so fantastic. I'll watch that, Madeline. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Did you read the book?
I read, when I was an English teacher, I read part of a fair amount of that book to the class.
Ready Player One? Is it? I haven't read it. Is it good? Gotcha. Okay.
Your
face almost exploded.
No, it didn't. What you okay? Sure. It is based on a true story. It has Hank Azaria in it. He utters one of my favorite lines of all time, which is not going to make any sense, but like, it's just I love the interplay. Do you remember it? Like, so Ray Fiennes, and because Ray Fiennes, he plays a guy who like, so there are these quiz shows that were kind of like all the rage for a little bit, and they were big deals and they were big cash prizes, and there was this guy who kept winning, and then they go, but there's this rumor that they're rigged, and then they go, we need to go get another guy to come on the show and be crowned the new quiz show champion. They're like, there's like this, it's essentially what happens with the reality shows today. Like, it's all scripted. It's like they have the person that they want, and they go, this person will win, we'll try to make it look like you're struggling, and then you'll lose to this person. It'll be great drama or whatever. And so they go get this dude who's like this, just like this prince of, he's highly educated. He's like this American prince. It's Ray Fiennes, if you know who that is. And at the time, he was just like this golden boy. Like, Robert Redford was like, we need to find me when I was 25 years old. And he comes on, and he's just this very erudite, well-spoken, just, I can't, and he just sort of talks like this, and I'm very humble, and he's wonderful. He's just wonderful guy, and everyone loves him. And they decide that it's time for the current quiz show guy to like take a dive and whatever, and make way for this guy. And the guy doesn't want to have them cheat for him. And he's like, I don't think that's right. And they have this meeting with him and Hank Azaria and David Paymer. Gosh, I'm just talking forever and no one cares.
No.
And it's him and Hank Azaria. And Hank Azaria is one of gosh, I love him in this movie. That and Shattered Glass, he's amazing. He's one of the producers of the show, one of the TV guys, and he's like this kind of like baseball like, and just kind of we should do that. He's kind of like whatever, and they're telling Ray Fiennes about their plan. He's like, we're gonna give you the answer. You know the answers. We'll just give you the questions. You'll know the questions, and you look up the answers yourself. And he's like, I'm not sure. I really want to be on the show. I love it, and I can't. And they're just like, and he's like, and they're like, what do you think? What are you thinking? And he goes. He just goes, I just keep trying to think, what would Kant make of this? And Hank Azaria just goes, I don't think I'd have a problem with it. Which is the best, because he just clearly doesn't know who's talking. It's just great. It's just great. I know that was a big, long explanation. I just love that so much. It's so freaking great.
I'm going to have to revisit that.
I love it. We should watch it for that. We should watch. You know what we should do? Look, because there's like 94, there's like 99, and we should do series on those years. 2007. Like, we should 2007. Do those years. I mean, oh my gosh.
2007. Whew.
And there's another, I think there was another 20 whatever where like something later where it was like, that was a great year too. But anyway. Great. I don't think the book is that great. Oh, so I
thought the movie was all right.
Ready Player One?
I thought it was a lot. It was a great piece of fluff.
Sure.
And then I walked away from it and I forgot all of it.
Yeah. I feel like the book, like, to me, and that might be a thing too, Heath, because and I can appreciate it. The weirdest,
it just felt like I was just like, it just felt like a Where's Waldo of pop culture stuff. Right. And I was just like, well.
This is gonna,
and it was fun. It was genuinely fun to like look around.
I mean, it's like Sky Captain, right?
Well.
But I don't know.
How?
Well, Sky Captain is just a bunch of movie references.
It's more just like an homage to 30s serials, but not done as well as.
But there are tons of like. Well,
is there?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like
in terms of
like actual references to actual
like
films.
Max Fleischer stuff.
Yeah. Like definitely the mechanical monsters. Yeah. Which I was like, oh, that's great. And then like the thing,
like even by the number, I even picked up on that. I was like, oh, that's from
Yeah. And then the Olivier thing at the end is like the Wizard of Oz. It's just rife with like you can look it up and be like, yeah.
But Ready Player One was like really in your face about
sure.
it. Where it was literally like there are moments where there's just crowds of people and you're like, oh, there's that.
So where's Waldo?
But as a movie, I was just like, oh, it's your standard hero story. Like, and I mean it's Spielberg, so it's done well, but I just didn't care by the end.
My thing with the book, because I haven't seen the movie. I read the book, and I like this is a weird. It's weird, like, because it's the same thing with The Village, where I'm like, I like the Village, and then like entirely absurdly, I guessed the ending as a joke to my wife, and then it happened, and I was like, I kind of can't blame it for that. That was weird, but it's still mess. So Ready Player One, I remember like I was I don't know what I was doing, but I just had this idea for a script, and I was like, what if there was something where it was like the Goonies, but like it was a team of movie buffs, and they all had different specialties, and like you had to go through this, like just a fun thing, and you had to go through, and someone created like a Goonies style like obstacle, and then every like stop, like we had to go like, oh, but I don't know, but the romantic comedy girl, she knows that, and then there'd be like, and then I'm like, oh, and sometimes it'd be funny of like you know, like the romantic comedy one, she doesn't know it, but the action guy knows it, but he has to like own up. And I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. And then I like looked at the whole, I just was like, whatever, and I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb. I can't, should not be a movie. This is not whatever. And then they did it.
Spielberg did it.
Well, Spielberg did it. Well, the guy did the book of it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird, because I was like, okay. And then I read it, and it just was like, it was like the skeleton of a movie. It was like it was written as a treatment to be a screenplay. Right. I was like, you really want this to be a movie,
right?
Because it is just kind of like this, and then as a book, it's just kind of going like, I went and. But again, maybe if it was like, because again, it was also just slightly out of my demographic. Yeah. The stuff that it references, that it refers to, and it was like I went and I sat down in front of this computer, and it turned it on and made the familiar this, and like, and he's meant.
Can you fix the background?
Oh, sure.
Madeline throws up.
Oh, sure. And he's talking about stuff, and he's like there's a scene where like he has to. Sorry. Oh, here we are.
Look, when we talk about Ready Player One, you got to go through the vortex.
Yeah. Yeah. It like there's a part where he's doing like where one of the challenges is I don't know if this is in the movie. One of the challenges is he has to like he goes into a virtual thing, and then it's like he has to just recite a scene from War Games.
No. And
I was like, okay, and then it just goes through, and then it's sort of like, and he was like, and I knew it from watching it 100 times, and it just seems like the treatment for a movie where he's like, this, we're going to use this, and we're going to show that he loves this, but it's just saying that he loves these things that are specific, and then the actual story, I kind of was like, it's not, it's just
a standard,
yeah,
it's a very standard.
I don't know, and then
story.
I don't know.
I have an issue. I think even South Park did a whole episode on this that I completely agree with, where like they had these things called member berries, which is like, remember, there's like these little grapes that people were eating. Is like, remember this and remember this and remember this, and like we hit, and I think Ready Player One was the apex, and it's kind of actually died down a little bit afterward, but I mean there were a couple of years there it was just like, hey, you like, and no, we're still doing it, but it's like, hey, you like that? Yeah. You like that thing from the 80s? Guess what? Redoing it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it just like them.
Here it is on a shirt.
Ironic now, you know? It's like 22 Jump Street, and, you know, it's just...
Did you see those movies?
Yeah, and they're funny. You know?
I actually really
That's actually one of the better versions. But it's just like... Just taking old properties based off nostalgic factor and turning it into something new to make an easy buck, and I'm like, yeah, I get it, but can we just come up with it? It folds very much into the remake issues that I have, where I'm like,
right, which is
hey, can we fucking do some new stuff already? Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a major issue I have, where I'm like, I don't go to art house cinemas out of like a pretentious need to. It's because I want to see new stuff, like original stories, and I just feel like 90% of mainstream studio stuff these days is, and I don't have an issue with comic book movies, it's just that I have an issue when studios put all their money, $300 million into one movie, and therefore it has to make all its money back, and then some, and then it takes away from all the mid-range $30 to $40 million movies that can get funded.
Absolutely, and it definitely makes a crowd. It definitely brings a crowd, and it definitely makes money.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I do understand it.
And the thing is, we are smack, and this kind of dovetails with everything else. We are right smack dab back in the place where we were before the new Hollywood, except like times a billion.
Yeah.
And in a different way.
and that's why we're going on this journey, to see how it kind of became this hotbed of creativity and innovation, and then sort of burned too hot, too brightly, and
there will be a collapse soon.
And the studios went, "Oh, we get it," and
Yeah.
then that's where we are now. Disney's live action of all its classics.
I know, it's the same. I watched Beauty and the Beast and I'm like, what? And then I'm like, this is just, it's not even bad because it is the same movie. But I'm like, but you already did it.
Yeah.
And like, but it made a lot of money, so they're going to keep doing it, and they're going to do their entire catalog. And I'm like, cool, that's something, I guess.
Originality died with Howard Hughes?
John Hughes.
Oh, John Hughes. Oh, is that?
I don't know.
Is that a line from James Silent Bob Strikes Back? No.
Yeah, Solo, a star. Did you see Solo?
No.
Good.
Oh, really? Oh, people said it was good.
Ugh,
Okay.
no. It's a 2-hour movie of everything I didn't want to know about Han Solo. It's like, guess what? I didn't want to. You just removed everything that made him cool, which was just the mystery of like the little one-liners that he gave out about he did this and the Kessel Run and all this stuff, and you're like, cool. So you explained all that in a very boring and pedestrian way, and like,
who directed it?
Ron Howard. Well, the guys who did 21 Jump Street.
Ron Howard? Oh my gosh!
The guys who did the guys who did the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
They did the first half, and then Ron Howard took over, reshot some. He did about 75% of it, and it feels like a Ron Howard movie. And look, Apollo 13, that's a classic. Yeah, it's a great movie. And then everything else Ron Howard is just like, ugh. But I really hated Solo. I didn't think that was good at all.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's just like, it was totally miscalculated. I'm like, you have an entire universe. Why are you sticking with these 7 characters that are like a Boba Fett movie? I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Like, I don't need to know anything about Boba Fett. Boba Fett works 5 minutes at a time, and he's got a cool suit. That's it. I don't need to know his arc.
Are they doing a Yoda movie? I'd watch a Yoda movie.
No. No. You don't. You think you want it, but you don't want that movie.
I didn't want a Han Solo movie, but people said it was good. And I loved him in Hail Caesar. I wanted to see Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, I loved him in Hail Caesar.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And I hated him in Solo.
Really?
I went from like thinking he was really cool to thinking he was not cool at all.
That sucks.
I want an Obi-Wan movie, but I want him if they bring back Ewan.
Sir Alec Guinness.
And and then CG his face, yeah. I never saw Rogue One though. Ben Moody hates that
really
movie.
Liked it. Really?
Oh, he fucking hates it.
We gotta have it out.
I almost, like, I think I brought it up one time saying I hadn't watched it, and I think it almost ruined our lunch because like he did not like that movie.
I did see that, Scholar. That's interesting, dude. Okay, give me 1 second. Rogue One. I finished watching it, and I was like, we rented it here, and I watched it, and I was like, that might be my favorite Star Wars movie.
Whoa! Wow.
And then I kind of thought about it more, and I was like, okay, maybe not, but it is. It definitely has like.
But is it your favorite Star Wars movie because you've already seen the perfect Star Wars trilogy? You know what I mean? Like, because you had the first 3. And it tapped into that. It's based off that.
I think sequels. I think people go like, no, it's not good. And I'm just like, well, I mean, it's like it.
But like that movie doesn't work without those 3 movies. You know what I mean? Or at least the first one
doesn't. Yeah, it has the best acting of any, and I think yeah, I really dug it. I really liked it a lot.
I'm just excited for, and like. I don't get it because I thought Last Jedi was it was finally, I was like, this is what I want from this whole new Star Wars universe.
I love Last Jedi. Yeah.
And I was so excited that and then I was shocked at how much
people
it's hated.
Went insane about it.
And I'm just like, I'm so glad that he's in charge of the new trilogy because if they're gonna keep cranking these out, then I'm glad that he has the guts to take them in new directions.
Yeah.
Because the more I thought about it, I hated Force Awakens.
Really?
Oh,
I
because
don't feel that way.
it's like J.J. Abrams is just like, I like it when I'm watching it. Like Mission Impossible 3 and Super 8, it's all the same. I'm like, this is great as I'm watching it, and then I leave and I'm like, it evaporates from my brain, and all that I'm left thinking about is how much it's a soulless piece of, fluff. It's just fluff. Force Awakens is New Hope. Like, that's what it is. And I get it. They had like the juggling act of like having to reboot a thing, but like, come on.
I liked them both. But again, I'm like Star Wars. Do what you want. I don't care. Like I'm not a huge Star Wars.
It's just that they have a universe. Go do new stuff.
Yeah. What? Someone mentioned something. Someone mentioned, Joaquin Phoenix is the Joker. You've heard this.
Yeah. Todd Phillips directing.
I know. And I was like,
I think it could be awesome.
I think it.
I got excited when they made Alec Baldwin Thomas Wayne, and they said that he's going to be very much like Trump. Like he's going to be like super tan, wearing a lot of gold chains. Like so they're going, and I think it's set in the 70s.
I didn't hear that. Oh my god!
So it's going to be like a very specific take on it, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
That's interesting.
I think
was
it's going to be like an Alan Moore type thing, Like,
yeah, and it's great that it's like a one-off thing, and well, maybe. And when they said Joaquin Phoenix is the Joker, like I just saw that, and I went, oh,
that'd be cool.
That is the most exciting casting I've maybe ever heard.
Yeah, it's really
anything.
Cool. Yeah.
And then I was like, who's directing? And they're like, Martin Scorsese. And I was like, really? And then it was later, I was like, no, he's producing. I was like, who's directing? And they're like, Todd Phillips. And I was like, oh, okay. We saw War Dogs.
And so that's why I went, okay. Because War Dogs, I was just like, it was okay. But like, I was like,
it was fun. It's good. Yeah.
I know most people think of him as like old school comedy director or whatever, like Hangover, but he could do it.
Sure, and that's why it's kind of like
I don't really care.
That's how I feel. Like I go like, okay, like, bye. Like it's like
it just sounds like they might be taking a chance with it, and that's all I care about. Just do something fucking different.
Ooh, Scholar. Ooh. Crispin Glover, yeah, that's an interesting one. That's very
Alec Baldwin walked out. Oh, he's not.
Alec Baldwin is gone. I wasn't excited just because I thought that the actor would overshadow the character, but I hadn't heard that take on it. That's interesting.
So I felt the same way until I read the take on it. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and apparently Joaquin was like because Waka was like he was like, I was interested because I really liked Todd Phillips' take on it, and I was like, okay, so if he likes his take on it, maybe that's good. But then I was like, I just always see Todd. It's not fair. I always see Todd Phillips as his cameo in Old School, where he just
the orgy?
Yeah, he's just the orgy, and I'm just like, and he just did Old School and those. I don't know.
But I also think he's trying to prove himself as a serious director, so maybe he'll be a little more hungry, and maybe he'll try to push it a little bit further.
Maybe he's gotten to the point where he's like, whatever, like And it's this thing where like it's happening like these like Adam McKay did The Big Short,
right? And
they're like these comedic directors are like, hey, check it out, I can do it, and I can do this but both of them kind of went like, I can do kind of like a Goodfellas-ish kind of thing,
right?
That's a true story with a crazy whatever, and where it seems like a great deal, and then it goes crazy, and then they end up okay at the end, and it's like. And I was like, okay, that's just what people do now. I thought there was like another one too, where it was like a comedic director. There was
But that's why
the Farrelly brothers did one. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, really?
I thought they did.
But that's why I think Todd Phillips is gonna be a good match, because he did a great Scorsese impersonation with War Dogs.
Yeah.
So maybe because of his comedic sensibilities, because say what you guys want, you've all watched Old School and you've all watched The Hangover, and you've probably chuckled a little bit at both of them.
Yeah.
So
Old School's fun.
He has the comedic sensibility. He has the technical know-how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he can direct. So maybe it can all fit with this one. And the fact that they're setting it in the 70s and they're going for like a much more exploitation type approach, apparently, that could be cool.
It could be very
real cool.
It could be absolutely
cool.
And
apparently the whole movie is seen from the Joker's perspective.
Well, that's great.
So like, maybe it's even like a very subjective, skewed viewpoint.
And if they pull this off, then it could be the beginning, like, because Moody, our friend Ben, a while back was like, we were talking about superhero movies, and he's like, I wish, and I've said this a million times, I've repeated him and credited him every time because I thought it's brilliant. Because we were talking about Marvel and DC, and he was like, I wish what DC had done is taken their kind of like landmark graphic novels and just made those as standalone films. And they've got so many, and so many of them are Batman. We've got so many that they could have compelling film after compelling film, not have to connect them, be a different actor, different director. Can you imagine? Then we would get a Fincher, Aronofsky. Then we would get a Coen brother, whatever, Batman. And we could have like Idris Elba could be Batman. It's not like it's just a constant boom, 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 boom. And you're going to go see it because it's awesome. And it's totally different from what Marvel's doing.
Yes.
But it's playing to DC's strengths. And I was like,
that's why Ben should be doing stuff like that.
I agree. It's Madeline. I love DC. And DC just has those iconic characters. Like, and I guess these guys are.
DC does have better characters. I just wish they made better movies. And I'm not even a big, I'm over Phil Odyssey. Like, I get it. I've been over comic book movies for a while.
And that's what I'm saying, Scholar. If the Joker is this kind of one-off, sort of off in a crazy direction, because that's what I thought Suicide Squad was going to be, and then it was too beholden to kind of like competing with Guardians or whatever, and just I thought and just
hot topic
did so much like adjacent. I would love if they did the Red Hood. That's my favorite. Maybe my favorite Batman story. And they've done an animated film, but it's just so freaking great. Tarsem, that'd be interesting. Let him, sure.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely. Totally. Yes. But if this hits, maybe they'll be like, we can do Elseworlds. We can do these like Batman one-off. We do year one and just leave it, like really do year one, or do Under the Red Hood and let it sit and then not have to connect it. And it doesn't have to be this interconnected thing. But I guess if it's not an interconnected thing, they feel like there's not this impetus to see all of them. But I don't know.
Well, they're failing so far. But
I know.
honestly, they should just take the animated version of Red Hood and then make a live action version. Like, it's just a perfectly storyboarded version of that movie, of that comic, and they should just do it.
I know, Scholar. I love
supposed to do year one for the longest time before Nolan came in. Aronofsky for like a year was developing
and it was
year
gonna be
one.
A crazy one.
Yeah, with Frank Miller, and they were doing a co-screenwriting credit, and then it didn't pan out, and so they just brought in Nolan, and that's where that went.
Shazam, that's true. Shazam does look. I was like, whoa, that's a breath of fresh air. That looks good. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they've turned a corner or something.
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer for that.
It's Zachary Levi who.
Oh, that's not a joke trailer. No. Oh well, then that's cool then.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow. I legit thought that was a joke trailer.
That's not a joke trailer. That's really funny.
Because I was like, oh, they got that guy from that show, and he's doing this. Yeah. But that's for real?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's the cool. Dini head of set. That would be, yeah, sure, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, Paul Dini, man.
I'd be on board with that.
That dude's cool.
For really, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, give me 1 second before
okay.
I know what you're about to say, but give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
So
hey, how about this? In 1989, let's say there's an alternate universe where Michael Keaton didn't become Batman because I love that movie.
Who would play Batman?
Mel Gibson would have been the best Batman of all time. Discuss.
What do you guys think about
89 before
I want to know what people think of Mel Gibson now. Like, do you guys...
I mourn.
Did you like Hacksaw Ridge? Did you see Hacksaw Ridge?
I did see Hacksaw Ridge.
What did you think about it?
The part... Right. We talked about this, I think. The part of Hacksaw Ridge that affected me... Because the whole part, because, like, dude, Mel Gibson's movies are, like Apocalypto, Braveheart.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Is there another one?
Man Without a Face, which is great.
He directed that? That's crazy. I feel like we've had this conversation. But Hacksaw Ridge, I was kind of like, this is...
unfortunately, I felt it was very conventional and kind of paint by number, and I kind of was like, whatever. But.
I agree.
The part that affected me was the part after when he did it, and then they do this crawl or they do this text thing where it like talked about the numbers.
Yeah.
That he actually say, and then I actually got emotional at that.
So did I.
I was like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, and
yeah.
and it really did. Oh, Passion of the Christ.
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah. I need to watch that movie again because when it came out, it was such a everything.
Yeah.
That it's like hard to watch that as a movie.
Mel Gibson is a garbage. Yeah.
So I
I
here's
finally
the deal.
heard those Rage tapes.
Oh, did you? I've never.
And they're so bad in terms of like I'm like I want to know if he's drunk because I know he's a big alcoholic because they're so over the top.
You guys talk about this.
Like
I'll be right back.
like crazy awful that I'm like, is he? I probably a rageaholic. I know he's an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic. And was he off like blackout? It just sounded like someone in the throes of a blackout. And I only say that, probably going to get too candid here. I don't drink anymore because I was really good at it in my 20s. And it just sounded something like that. And I'm not defending him, what he said or what he's ever said or anything like that. But it certainly seemed weird. I'll say that much. But yeah, I think he's a fantastic director, and I think he's a cool actor. But then I saw all that stuff, when he had the blow-ups and everything, and it made me question all of it. Sure, but I just was curious to see what people think about him now. He's a dumpster fire. There you go. So last year I tutored a girl who played Mel Gibson's daughter in the beginning of the film Edge of Darkness. I haven't seen Edge of Darkness. I think that was... Who directed that? John Campbell, who did GoldenEye, which is my favorite Bond movie. Hot take. Yeah. Yeah, the tapes were... That's his daughter that he's talking to in the tapes? Oh, no. Yeah, either way, no excuse. He's a male Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, that about sums it up. But what was Brian's take? Oh yeah, 1989 Batman. Who would be your favorite actor if it wasn't Michael Keaton and it was still the same movie? So it's still Tim Burton's movie that ended up on the screen. Who would be your best pick for Batman if you couldn't be Michael Keaton, and it has to be an actor from 1989 era? Gibson? I don't know. Nick Cage? Gerard Butler, yeah. Did you guys like Danny Scholar? Did you like Danny DeVito's take on the Penguin? Because I thought it was great. I love Batman Returns. I almost love Batman Returns as much as 89 Batman. And I think those two, and like I love Christopher Nolan's versions. I've always said that I did not like Dark Knight Rises. I thought Dark Knight was great. I think I love Batman Begins the most, honestly. I think The Dark Knight's great, but I think I love it just because of Heath Ledger. Harrison Ford, nailed it. That's it. Harrison Ford, 89 Batman, put me in it. Oh, with the glasses? Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic. Harrison Ford, dude.
That's insane.
Harrison.
That is not it. That's insane.
Oh, that's perfect.
No, it's crazy.
It's that or George Clooney from 1989.
Hey, I can't take credit for this. This is a conscious idea. But I fully support it.
Hey! I didn't even realize it till just this second. I was like, what is he doing? I was like, oh, yeah. So it's past midnight. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody sing to you. Happy birthday. Keanu Reeves. It's not a bad one, in a weird way.
25 Keanu Reeves. This is era like, thanks, dude.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
Josh was like, we should do this. And I was like, okay, cool. It's happy freaking birthday. Matthew Broderick, Batman. Yeah, let's do the best and then the worst. Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Who, like, I love Gene Wilder.
I saw some Gene Wilder outtakes. Someone posted them on Facebook. Outtakes from Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah?
Like blooper reels.
Uh-huh.
And it's so good. Like,
really?
because, I mean, that movie
amazing.
looks like it was made in the 30s.
Can you imagine?
Can we
if
talk about the photography in that?
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it was made in the 30s. I'm gonna eat one of these right now.
Do it. Can you imagine if Gene Wilder was the Joker?
Oh, I would love that.
Or the Riddler? Or
If
something?
you think about his version of Willy Wonka, he would
it's
be
basically-
fantastic. Yeah.
He's a homicidal maniac. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the bits that you give to me. Look, I love Harrison Ford. I love, everyone loves Harrison Ford. Yeah, Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford. But can you imagine Batman going, Vicky, yeah, oh, sure. Look, you see that thing on my belt? Just hold on to it. Okay. Oh, gosh.
Well, how old is he? That sounds like grumbly old.
He's always been 70. He's just always been a confused man. Confused
Even in
elderly man. No. Robin Williams is the Joker? That'd be interesting. There was a man when they were looking for someone around the Heath Ledger time. One of the ideas was Paul Bettany as a Joker, and I was like, oh
wow,
my gosh,
yeah.
I mourn for that.
That would have been fantastic.
What was the consensus on Mel Gibson? Now if you can't, it's fine. If you can't separate it, but Mel Gibson as Batman,
Get off my bat plane.
he's got the. Yeah. Burt Reynolds, it's interesting. He would never agree to be Batman. That's true. But
He'd just be chewing gum the whole time.
Yeah. I hope so. I want Norm Macdonald as Burt Reynolds as Batman. Yeah, as the Joker. As Joker's.
I like that our version of Burt Reynolds is Norm Macdonald's
exactly.
version of Burt Reynolds. So.
Peter Weller. Oh, that's.
Wait, who's Peter Weller?
This is RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
That's not
Sorry.
bad. No. Well, he's got this.
Oh, Mickey
he's got-
Rourke. Could he be Bruce Wayne though?
Yeah.
You think so?
That's what I was imagining.
He's such a man, like a blue collar kind of guy.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
I feel like
finding one to play both roles.
And tell me Mel Gibson couldn't do it because Mel Gibson combines. Because what I love about Michael Keaton,
that cowl, man, like
but he's got the chin, he's got the jaw.
He does have the chin.
He's got and Keaton. What makes Keaton amazing is his Bruce Wayne, which is like he's whatever, but you're like that dude's off his rocker.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson. And even like he's Riggs, it's like it's and he's just he's got the Playboy thing, he's got the voice, he's got the physique more than
he could do it. He could do it.
I think that's a missed opportunity, and I think my brother-in-law mentioned that, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Michael Douglas, I would not have liked that, but he's not a bad choice. He's not a bad choice.
Think like Michael Douglas in Black Rain. You know what I mean? Like
never seen Black Rain.
Oh,
Ridley Scott.
Is it Hard Rain?
No, I think it's Black Rain.
Black Rain,
yeah. De Niro. That'd be interesting.
Oh man, I would honestly De Niro as like old Batman, because De Niro was
De Niro I think was gonna be
think about De Niro
supposed to be
Heat,
in this.
That was 95.
Yeah, that may be Joker, but think about it. You might be coming at me one day. I don't know. Yeah. See. Yeah. Right. No. Yeah. De Niro Penguin.
Twist my nipples harder. Oh, I need to go watch South Park. South Park's version of Mel Gibson, I was like, yeah, that's probably what he's like for real. Especially after hearing all that stuff on those tapes.
Hey, anyway, how are you doing? Do you need to?
I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah, do it.
Because I'm tired.
Do it. Hey, so for next time.
Thank you for these though. Buddy.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Absolutely, rock and roll. Our daughter asked for, how many are gone?
2. Oh, she ate one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she wanted one, and Kashi was like, Jeff would probably be cool with it.
Yeah.
All right. Costner. I thought of Costner, too. Costner Costner has the inscrutability, the enigmatic.
Yeah.
He's great. I think Costner's a great one.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Because I just think of him in Waterworld, and he can do the action hero so well.
I just want him to exist in the Batman universe as a villain, just exactly as he is in Waterworld, and just be Fishman.
Dry land.
He's
just always looking for dry land. He's just trying to conquer dry land.
Waterworld is fine. Waterworld is fine.
It's a fine movie. I don't know how it got pigeonholed as a bad movie.
It's because it went over
Ishtar's
budget.
a great movie. Like we can go down the list. These movies get bad reps and they somehow build steam and then there's a domino effect. But Waterworld, I saw it in the theaters. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Waterworld, it's because it's when a movie when rumors get out that it's over budget and when it gets pushed. That's when people start going, oh. Yeah. And they start going, they're spending money.
Right.
I'm going to nail them when they come out. Yeah.
Because you know what? Waterworld is Mad Max with water. And that's like, I've seen, Mad Max and then the last Road Warrior. And I frankly, I think Waterworld, I think that movie goes toe to toe with those movies. I mean, it's a perfectly fine movie.
Hey, man.
When he drops the match in the well full of oil with that old guy in it. You remember that moment?
No, I just remember. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Oh, so you didn't like it?
No, I was like, this is 100. This is solid. This is a solid 90s action movie. I don't know what the problem is. Perceived as a better movie.
Yeah.
I saw it opening weekend, and you liked it. Great. Yeah. So.
I've never seen The Postman.
I've never seen The Postman,
rep, but I heard it's great.
I have Divine DJ Cannon, our user here, was like, hey, man, he sent me his Blu-ray copy of The Postman because he was like, it's my favorite movie. You should watch it.
Really?
Like, it's amazing. He gave me the Blu-ray copy.
Cool.
I know, it's great. Waterworld.
Waterworld made me want to distill my own pee.
Yeah.
Boy, I feel you on that.
Yeah, I did. I did. Like, what did I do? I was writing a paper, and I was writing for a paper, and I did like a Thanksgiving like Turkey Day bash where I watched all the worst things, and it was Ishtar, like all the supposedly worst ones, and it was Ishtar, Heaven's Gate, Waterworld, Hudson Hawk.
Oh, I haven't seen Hudson.
Hudson Hawk is charming.
Is it?
It's ridiculous, but it's charming. It is. Howard the Duck, which I had seen, definitely. Gosh, a couple more. Anyway. Yeah. Heaven's Gate I thought was fantastic. The only ones where I was like, Hudson, yeah.
Heaven's Gate is a fan. I don't like it because of what it did. Because it ended the new Hollywood movement that we're talking about.
You love Hudson Hawk. I love it. Yeah, that and... Yeah.
But boy, is it an artistic... Like, it's a great movie.
Howard the Duck is terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying.
Okay, so am I going to have to see Hudson Hawk now? Because everybody's... That's Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
And did he write that?
Like, co-wrote it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's him and Danny Aiello. It's great.
I think they did that.
Richard E. Grant
made, and they made it sound... Like, is it just is it great because it's crazy, just like all over the place, or is it like an actual good movie?
It's an interesting idea, and it's a heist. Well, hold on.
Isn't it about like alchemy and stuff? And
yeah, it does go nuts. Ishtar was watchable, not amazing, but not as bad as it. Ishtar, the first like 20 minutes are beautiful.
The opening,
I love the opening
half hour is just hilarious, like laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I follow like the opening scene. Mm-hmm. The opening of Ishtar is just so freaking funny. That's some of my best nights. Does anyone Hudson Hawk? That's great. Hudson Hawk. So the premise of Hudson Hawk is that he's a cat burglar who times his robberies to songs, like sort of like not show tunes, but to standards. Like I think maybe the opening scene is he comes in, he's like stealing something from a museum, and he's like, okay. Ready? And then Danny Aiello is like it's all timed out for some reason, like the way he does the heist.
Oh, to the song.
To the song, and Danny Aiello goes
like 4 beats,
and he clicks it, and then he goes and it's kind of an excuse for Bruce Willis to sing, but he goes through and he's like,
I was gonna say,
and he's like, would you like to swing on a star? And he's like, ta ta ta, and you're like, what is this? He says a pork pie hat, and it's just great. And then like Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard are the like villains, and they're insane. And it's the most ridiculous. They're just insane, and it's great. And they're like kicking dogs. It's great. I have it. I'm gonna let you borrow. Or Better Off Dead is fantastic. Grosse Point Blank I love, and I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's great. It's great.
Andie MacDowell, that's right. As a dolphin. Andie MacDowell is the one, and Andie MacDowell she's so in the '90s as like, we need an Andie MacDowell.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. We like with John Cusack as being John Malkovich. Sure.
I have a heart. Like, I think John Cusack, I've just heard so many nightmare behind the scenes stories about he just seems like a deeply unhappy person.
Really interesting, huh?
But I like his movies, most of them, and I think he's charming.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's definitely charming. Yeah. High Fidelity, I watched at exactly the right time.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Well, cool. Hey,
Dude.
yeah. Happy
Did it.
birthday.
Thanks, buddy.
We talked about this. Let's do it. We're going to do it. Let's do The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 for next time.
Yes.
And Part 3?
No.
I've never seen Part 3. Read your comment. What is it, Scholar? Oh, sorry. What were you saying? Hugh Grant's breakout role. It absolutely was 4 Weddings. Yeah.
Oh, bro, read his comment.
I'm trying. Lower Cop, please watch Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. I've heard it's great. Batman Beyond is a really cool take on Batman. Yeah, I don't know. I never, for some reason, was drawn aesthetically to Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
And I was like, new future Batman. I was like, that's fine.
I watched the first season.
I've heard it's great.
And it's good, but the aesthetic of it, I think the animated series is just...
I was like, give me Max Fleischer-ish era Batman.
It's just, I love that look and that Art Deco thing.
You just finished reading the books. That's great. Mario Puzo, who also wrote Superman, the screenplay to Superman.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They basically hired him because like, we need a big name screenwriter, and it was like 70. When was Superman? 76? 70? No. 78? I don't know, but they're like, he'd come off of anyway.
Wow.
Missed when the theme song music video. Oh,
you mean like Men in Black?
Oh yeah, that's a thing, and it's still kind of. I wish they did like.
And they would like put the actors in the music video and
like
be like a cheap version of the set that they filmed the actual movie on. Yeah.
Yes, it's What's the gosh darn it, the Phantom Thread and Daniel Day-Lewis is like in some music video for the Phantom Thread. I'm just trying to pick the least appropriate whatever.
Did you see Phantom Thread?
No, I didn't. It's
great.
I really want to see it. Yeah. Will Smith did have most of those. Yes, but what I miss is something in the
Wow West.
Something in the 80s and 90s before it just became, because I think we all associate it with Will Smith now, but something they used to do was they would have a rap song about the comedic lead character, a la Ace Ventura, the Addams Family. So Ace Ventura had the Tone Loc, yo Ace Ventura, boom boom, dum, yo Ace Ventura, and then also, of course, there's Turtle Power. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
On the half shell, they're the heroes for. In this day and age, who could ask, you want to go home? But the Addams Family had the MC Hammer rap about the Addams Family. Then Vanilla Ice did Turtles 2. Anyway.
I don't think I've seen Turtles 2.
It's very good.
Is it?
You've never seen The Secret of the Ooze?
I don't think I have. I saw the first one, and then I had the third one.
I never saw the third one.
The third one's not good, but I grew up. That was just the thing I had in my collection, the yellow case, And
Bat Dance by Prince. Yeah, Batman had a song by Prince kind of did the soundtrack. Go Ninja, go. You never saw it with Toko and Razor?
No.
I don't understand how that could be possible. Okay.
Maybe we should just watch that. Not for the show, but just...
Yeah.
I might just come over and watch that with you.
And Hackers.
Well, I'll watch Hackers.
I've never seen Hackers.
I'm probably going to go home and watch Hackers
It's
again
good. All right.
I always end my evenings with Hackers.
All right.
Okay, guys.
All right, what time is it? It's 1:09.
So next Sunday, Godfather
1 and 2.
1 and 2. We're going to do it.
This is your chance. If you have not seen it, I don't know why this is your chance. You could just go any day of your life and go see it. But this is your chance. We will all be watching it together.
They're great. I mean, guys, it's Godfather 1 and 2.
And then you can just go and talk to your other friends and be like, have you seen The Godfather? Because you haven't seen The Godfather. Okay. So whatever. I feel
and then after you can be like, yeah, The Godfather Part 2 is so much better than the original Godfather.
Yeah, because I just love it. It's so great. What about The Breakfast Club? We could do John Hughes. After we get out of the new Hollywood, it's going to open up and we're going to do 80s and 90s action. We're going to do Brian De Palma. We're going to do foreign films. We're going to do Fincher. Like straight up Fincher.
We should do Fincher music videos.
Oh yeah, and
As a
Spike Jonze music videos and
yeah.
I don't know.
Fincher had like, it's just like he did some of those 80s music videos,
Scholar.
like a lot of Madonna stuff, like the stuff that
Yeah,
looks
Vogue.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the hyper 80s looking.
And then George Michael, I will be your father
Yeah.
figure. Yeah, the acting on this was great. Yeah.
It's just cool to see. I'm like, wow, you like did some stuff that
There
is just crazy.
There is that, that we could do like the music video directors class, like the class of guys who started coming out of music video. Well, I guess Ridley Scott.
Oh, I think we should. I mean, well,
We're
Ridley
gonna-
was more advertising, but
yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite directors. He's only done 2 movies, but he's my favorite music video director is Mark Romanek, and
what movies did
he did 1 Hour Photo and Never Let Me Go.
Oh my gosh, I've never
and every
seen
once in
either
a while,
of those.
like when I was in my early 20s, I found his email address after some research, and I emailed him like a link to a music video I'd done, and he responded. And so anytime I have something I'm really proud of, I'll email it to him. And he always responds. And
He does?
Yeah, he always responds. Not a lot, but he'll write back.
That's incredible.
And usually really quickly too. And I'm like, you're Mark. Oh my god, you're so cool.
That's insane. Wow.
Anyway,
David Lynch. We're definitely going to do David Lynch. I have not seen enough David Lynch.
I haven't seen enough David Lynch.
Who directed Janie's Got a Gun? Fincher?
Don't know.
No.
Don't know.
No. Not who are you saying? Who What? Who did Janie's Got a Gun? Are you telling me David Fincher directed the music video for Janie's Got a Gun? That can't be true. Lost Highway.
But that's what I'm saying is like some of his music video work you would not associate with him.
Yeah.
Because it's before he became 7 Fincher, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I remember
even Alien 3 Fincher.
Yeah, one of his Fincher did Janie's Got a Gun? That's crazy. I remember that video. Dune, I've never seen Dune. I've never seen Blue Velvet.
Ooh, dude. That's that might be my favorite Lynch.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, he's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Well, Dennis Hopper's going to come back around, baby.
Lost Highway's really great, too.
Yeah. I've seen, I haven't
seen Eraserhead.
I haven't seen Eraserhead either. I've seen a fair amount of Elephant Man.
Haven't seen Elephant
I've
Man.
not seen Dune. I've seen,
haven't seen Dune.
What's the Mulholland Drive? Yeah.
I've tried to watch Mulholland Drive. I know I need to really sit down.
David Hunch, that Mulholland Drive is one that I watched and then was like, and then I like looked up and I was like, okay, read stuff about it. I was like, okay. And I don't know why I don't know why I was in for that one, but not in for Blow Up. But I was like,
have you seen Inland Empire?
No.
I saw that Lynch premiered that at South by Southwest, and I was at the premiere, and it was my first Lynch, and because it's a dense, difficult. It's a lot like Mulholland Drive and like how inscrutable it is. Mm-hmm. But I will say this much: Inland Empire freaked me out.
So
yes, it is terrifying. Just on mood alone, I was just, and it's like long. It's like 2.5 hours, but it was super terrifying. And then he did a Q&A afterward, and he's like, there's these little things in the air. And he kept doing this. And everybody started to like kind of giggle. It was like a 45-minute thing, and he would always respond. He'd be like this. He'd be like, yes, and there's these things, but there's always little stuff in the air that you can find. You can just pick and choose, and you can always do this. And he kept doing this move.
Wait, bunnies? Because I saw this short film with like Naomi Watts and stuff that was bunnies.
There's like nightmare bunnies.
So maybe
bunnies in suits.
It was called On the Air and was co-made with Mark Frost. Oh, it had a sitcom? No, I did not know that. I need to see that. That's crazy. We started watching Twin Peaks, my wife and I went in, to be fair, going like, I'm going to love this. And I do love it. It's great. We didn't finish it, but I've seen.
Are you talking about the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched 2 and I really dug it. I need to pick it back up.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I can't. It's so great. There was something I wanted to. Oh, it was something I wanted to respond to. Anyway, Pink Flamingos. John Waters. I haven't seen a lot of John Waters, but yeah, Pink Flamingos is the one, I guess. Guys. John Waters. Have you seen Serial Mom? That's big fun.
I haven't seen any John Waters.
I mean,
just because.
You seen Hairspray?
No, yeah. I've just done a harsh judgment on him, and I'm like, that's probably not for me. But
okay.
I should probably watch it at some point.
I mean, yeah. Serial Mom is a treat. Serial Mom is ridiculous. All right, guys. It is 1:16. Hold on a second. I'll come back and at least say goodbye. I don't know. We were gonna try to do.
See you guys Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, that's gonna come up sooner than later. No.
Should we still do Sunday? We'll talk about this.
Yeah. Is that okay for you? We'll talk about it.
So.
Let's talk about it.
We just have 2 3-hour movies we gotta watch.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, guys. I will be back.
Bye.
And thanks for. Yeah.